It can in no way compete with the Oreo cookie challenge, the great Oreo cookie challenge. But thank you so much for joining us for the state of college football address. This has become a bit of an annual event here at the Voice of College Football. I don't know how many years running. I'm sure it's documented somewhere. I'm sure most of you recollect. You probably have it in your journals and diaries there at home, so you can let me know how many consecutive off seasons that we have been delivering the much important, the much ballyhooed, the much anticipated state of the Voice of College Football address with all of you. Welcome in, everyone. We appreciate you being here. And if you are looking for the best in discussion, debate, and analysis of college football, you've come to the wrong place. Tonight, you have come to the wrong place. Tonight, right now, tonight. We will see you tomorrow. So if you have no interest in hearing about the channel, our network of channels, 25 channels, some of them we still call channels, even though they barely qualify, but technically and officially 25 team channels here at the Voice of College Football. If you are here to talk college football with me, we'll see you tomorrow. Or we will see you later tonight on the USC channel for the Trojans live show. We are here to talk about the Voice of College Football. And so thank you for all being here. I appreciate it. We will take your calls here in about 30 minutes or so, give or take 4 or 5 minutes or 15 or 20. We will see how long it takes for me to run through my comments in my address of the Voice of College Football. All right. So it is great to see everyone here. I believe Ferris and Jason showed up awfully early to leave their comments. So thank you so much for that. I have left the link to the call-in show portion of this. I've left that link to talk to me directly. That's in the chat, as we typically do, which leads me to one topic that I will address a little bit later, if I remember, because I failed to remember it, but that has reminded me. So thanks so much for being here at the Voice of College Football. We appreciate you, and without you, we don't have all of this. So I am talking to a blank wall. And I would have given up a long time ago talking to that blank wall if it weren't for all of you. So my thanks go out to all of you first and foremost, because you, by extension, are the Voice of College Football. I get asked that question from time to time, not as many times as I used to. At the very outset of the transition of MarkRogersTV, and that was the initial name for a number of reasons, MarkRogersTV, transitioning to the brand name, the Voice of College Football. People would ask me, why the Voice of College Football? They would ask me, are you the Voice of College Football? Do you think you're the Voice of College Football? Did somebody tell you you're the Voice of College Football? Where did you come up with that? I did not come up with it at all. And actually, I had somebody challenge me on Twitter just the other day, and I let them know I didn't come up with that. That is too clever for me. I am not a branding individual, but shoot, I ran with it. Certainly when I had, I don't know, 10 or 15 people I could possibly credit with this in particular. I could credit one of my best friends for knocking me upside the head to say, Mark, go, run with this. People are calling you the Voice of College Football, because I showed him about 10 or 15 comments in the comments section, and people were just matter-of-factly stating, I've got this question, got this comment, and as the Voice of College Football, what do you think about? And he finally said, run with it. So here we are. But here's the great part of all this. Whether you believe I'm the Voice of College Football, not the Voice of College Football, we all together are the Voice of College Football. We deliver and give the opportunity for more voices to be heard here than I believe anywhere else. My voice, the voice of media writers, analysts, commentators from all over the place. We bring them on constantly, both here and throughout the network of channels, as you know. So they have a voice. And then, of course, you have a voice. And we hear from you on a regular basis every day. So between all of us, however you want to look at it, the voice of college football. So first and foremost, I am saying thank you to all of you. If this is the first time you've ever seen us here at the Voice of College Football, let's say you're surfing YouTube as I was just a few minutes ago, and I will later tell you about the channel that I came across that I had no idea existed, although it seems like half the planet knows about this channel. But I came across it just a few minutes ago. Just, when you open up your YouTube and it gives you a various selection of videos and channels that they suggest that you watch, which YouTube should do a better job of suggesting us here at the Voice of College Football. Wink, wink, by the way. YouTube out there, YouTube authorities and algorithms. I'm just giving you a bit of a push and suggestion there. But so if you're joining us for the first time, or maybe you've been watching for 3 days, maybe you've been watching for a week or a month, a year, 10 years, and we will certainly honor those people that have been watching the longest, or we certainly believe at this point, based on the data, been watching the longest. It's the only metrics that we have to go by. But certainly, I hesitate in thanking specific individuals. Not that they don't deserve it, not that they haven't earned it, not that I don't want to give them a huge pat on the back because they have done so much more for me than I will ever do for them, but it's because I don't want to leave anyone out. So I have carefully pinpointed certain people to thank, and we will do so right now in just a second. But I want to make it clear that between our various channels, I believe we've got 10 weekly live streams. So check those out on a weekly basis, whether that's Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa, Oklahoma, West Virginia, USC coming up tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern time, of course. And also Miami, of course. That was our first. Clemson now added. Thank you, Jordan and Tiger Paw Craven. Thank you so much for your contribution. Clemson, by the way, I will give special kudos to the Clemson show on Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time, because it is the only show that is delivered without my presence. So, Jordan, thank you. Tiger Paw Craven, great job. And I may be missing one or two, possibly. I think I caught all of them. Florida State would be the other one in the ACC that maybe I missed. And of course, we love our Florida State show between Logan Jason and Big Game James Coleman. They are phenomenal. But you see all those guys. So I could name off the 30 or 40 guys that we have on a regular basis, probably not quite that many, but you see them. So I thank them every week, and they are much, much, much appreciated. But you see their faces all the time. I would like to point out a lot of the people that do some work for me behind the scenes for very, very little in return. And I would like to get to this post because I have built some graphics to outline a few things as we go forward here. So let's see if we can get to it. Let's back out of that. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. Shoot. I don't have that graphic because I didn't, I produced it in iMovie and it didn't go to my StreamYard file. Well, that sucks. And also wanted to let everybody know that in the fine tradition of this country, we want to deliver a State of the Union address or State of the Voice of College Football that certainly holds with all the pomp and circumstance. See, I dressed like I used to dress all the time. I dressed with a little style, no jacket, no necktie. Actually found a video of myself the other day. I had a tie on. I used to wear ties all the time. Anyway, I feel horrible about this because we had a number of graphic displays to go along with what I'm talking about, but they're not saved. All right, very good. All right, so first and foremost, Mr. Joey Foster. Joey works his tail off to do his very best to you guys see him in the chat. And yes, that's awesome. That's amazing. You see it all the time. He's in here pushing the Amazon link and pushing the other shows and reminding everyone that we've got a Discord. All of that, Joey's in there. But that's just a small ounce of what he does. Joey has helped us for really way before I even knew about it. He was doing his best to tell people about what we do here at the Voice of College Football. And Joey is out there. I tell you, every time I pick up my phone, there's a few people I can count on texting me, but Joey is way ahead of me on everything and always making phenomenal suggestions. And so, Joey, you are phenomenal. Thank you so much for your contribution, your support, your loyalty, and we are making strides because of you. All right. Tony Altimore has done a phenomenal job in recent weeks. Of course, you know him as coming on here to present the various metrics and statistics, the facts, the history behind the various conference alignments, and so forth. And as soon as I want to produce something in that order that goes way beyond my football knowledge and knowledge of the TV industry and the TV markets, I go get Tony. Tony has built a ton of graphics for us. He built all the post-game graphics that you see for the post-game shows on the various channels this past season. You see that he dresses up that Pac-12 show way beyond anything that I've done. So certainly he has outclassed all of our other shows automatically with his tremendous graphics. So we appreciate Tony. We appreciate Tim Prangley as well, because he's in all these shows all the time, jumping in and again, encouraging everyone, moderating the chat. He's given me tons of encouragement, suggestions that I probably should do a better job of latching onto and running with. But Tim found us, I don't know, I don't want to take a shot, in the last couple of years, sometime probably the previous football season, 2021, something in that range. And Tim's been amazing. I also want to say One Scoop John, especially in recent weeks, but overall for months and months and months and months, his support, his help. He has taken the Michigan show by the horns and led some reorganization there, gotten us straight, gotten us set, gotten us in line, and we're about to do amazing things with the Michigan show there. Exploring with Ben. When I think that this guy has disappeared and he has fallen off the face of the earth, Exploring with Ben will pop into these shows, and he is constantly letting everyone know, reminding everyone, the Amazon link, Discord, get in here. And again, I don't have my list in front of me, but I wanted to make sure that we got to those individuals. And again, there's a ton of you that do a tremendous job and help me in so many ways. And also, Shoelace Sooner. Goodness gracious. Wait until you see what he has produced and help us with. Our web developer who is working on our website. So we had a website. That was that rug was pulled out from under my feet. I won't go into that debacle, but that person proved not to be trustworthy, and they picked up and ran. And so we had our website that looked really polished and good. We had some merch on there. We were all ready to roll, and we had it up and running. I had a couple of writers involved, and then he was up and gone. So Shoelace Sooner is heading up our project to build out our website that is going to look phenomenal. It is going to be 1,000 times better than it was. And I thought the first website looked pretty damn good. All right. Let me not miss anyone. All right. I wanted to thank, and again, all of you know how long you've been here, how much you watch, how much you don't watch. And I know that there are a zillion. The more I dig into YouTube, and I have really looked into YouTube here in the last month, trying to solve some issues that we're having. And we'll talk about challenges, because the State of the Union, or the State of the Voice of College Football address, is about talking about accomplishments. It's about talking about challenges, and it's talking about moving forward and vision for the future. So we will address all those things. So I also am sometimes flabbergasted because I know that there are a zillion options, and that's almost not an understatement. Every other person in the world practically has a YouTube channel, if not 2 or 3 or 4. And I go online, and again, I'm trying to navigate some issues. Joey and myself are trying to figure some things out that are currently not working, that have worked in the past. And I belong to a couple YouTube groups, one in particular. And in watching these videos and in making contact with and seeing other content creators, it just blows me away as to what other people are doing. So I know that you have a lot of, and sometimes we tend to think of it as just college football competition. And I got to tell you, I don't watch anyone else, not because there aren't quality people out there, but I don't really just take the time, have the time. Uh, if I'm going to be on YouTube, I'm going to be watching other things. But I know that again, going back to the suggested videos, anytime any of us open up YouTube, YouTube is going to provide us with all these opportunities to go wherever. And they have a big algorithm to try to figure out what we want and what we're going to go after because they want to keep us on YouTube. And I got to tell you, especially in recent months, there have been more college football channels, or maybe I've just discovered them, more college football channels that I've never seen before, never heard of. And sometimes I'll look at their page and see how long they've been around. And maybe they've been around for 6 months. Maybe it's been 5 years. And I thought, I've never heard of these people, and they're doing pretty damn well. So I have seen that a number of times. And so I know that there are a ton of college football options out there, and some of them are pretty amazing, do a great job, great analysis, funny, interesting, insightful, whatever. Fill in the blank. I think you need to be one of those things or a combination of those things to grab any kind of attention. You need to be authentic, hopefully, insightful, entertaining, funny, informative, knowledgeable. You got to have some combination of those things or forget it. You don't have a chance. Uh, and so there are some people out there that are in that realm, or in a lot of these situations, I'm up against groups of people. They bring on all sorts of guys and ladies, of course. Although I never see that, I've got a obligatory comment to make there. I'll fill that in with ladies. I'm sure there are your college football ladies out there. Anyway. So yeah, I know there are a lot of options out there, and those are college football options. I'm pretty sure that you guys love who knows what else. Gardening, music. Oh, shoot, video games. Oh, my word. And all these other things. So it's not just college football competition. You've got options all over the place for anything to take up your time. So we thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the super chat that's coming in right now. We might as well get to that. So if anybody's out there, and I hope I am speaking to any of the people that I've ever dissed on a super chat, because it was not intentional. So it was basically not dissing you on a super chat. But every so often, this doesn't happen too often, that I'll review the super chats afterwards and I'll be like, ooh, I didn't see that one, or it came in right at the end and I didn't see it. And I feel horrible, especially if it's somebody that has never contributed before, or I've never seen that handle before. That happened just a few weeks ago, a couple different times where I saw people contribute and I thought I've never seen them before. And then they choose to contribute and I missed their super chat. So I feel bad about that. So if you are out there and I've missed the super chat, I believe if you watched me for a certain period of time, you realize that was not intentional. Erica's here tonight. So Erica, I don't know when she started watching, but it was over on the Iowa channel. And of course, she is a big fan of our buddy Corey Bratta from the Hawkeye of the Storm, and she loves her Hawkeyes. Erica, thank you so much for being here tonight. It is a special night, regardless of how many people show up. And I understand and I completely respect anybody who doesn't want to watch this particular live stream. If all you want is college football discussion and you don't really care about where you get it or how good it is or what happens with our particular network or set of channels in the future, hey, we'll see you tomorrow. So I totally respect that, and I understand. I wouldn't want to sit through a number of channels that I even like and have them talk about what's going on. But Erica says, congrats to all who got a shout out from Mark. You all deserve it. Well done. I've learned a lot from everyone, including those who didn't get a shout out. Yes. And absolutely. Thanks for taking this Hawkeye under your wings. Yes. Cheers to you, Erica. Thank you so much for the super chat. That is so kind of you. Absolutely. Okay. Next on my list after the thank yous. And shoot, I spent all that time building those graphics and I didn't save them to the file that I needed to save them to. But they're on my iMovie right now. All right. In addition to all of that, yes, I wanted to honor these folks. And you know what? I don't even know who they are, but this is why they're going to be honored. So look at this. These are the first subscribers that are still subscribers. Well, is that it? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, check this out. All right, let's blow this up. So I'm sure there were other people because I didn't have like 3 subscribers and then nobody subscribed for a year. So this is obviously a list that I have only looked at a few times, but you can look at all of your subscribers and then organize it in any way. So this goes all the way back to the beginning of the channel, this main channel. And these are obviously the people that have subscribed that are still subscribers. And I took a screenshot of this the other day and I put it on Twitter. And then let's give that last person a little bit of credit. Let me knock my name off of here. And so I posted the screenshot on Twitter and Phoenix 462, whoever you are, thank you. You may not even watch any videos anymore, but you're a subscriber and you've stayed a subscriber and you are definitely one of the first subscribers because this channel was launched sometime in March of 2010. So on May 12th, 2010, Phoenix 462, if you're out there, give us a call. And then see our third person there, Dichotomer? Or no, I'm reading that incorrectly. Yeah, whatever you want to call it, Dikoter. I do remember him showing up from time to time years ago. And then the next two, well, you got this Landry Rogers character, whoever that is. I'm not quite sure there. Then see Patrick Muldowney. I worked with him at ESPN, played softball with him. Great guy, amazing guy who's been all over the media landscape working for Fox and a bunch of other social media places that I couldn't even recite. And then I tweeted out to him, and he was the only guy that I knew from this page. So I put him on the tweet, and he got back to me. But Patrick, Pat used to come on here way back. We're talking about 2011, 2012, and talk NBA hoops with us. Like I used to do a show and we talk NBA and all these other sports and bring on all sorts of people. That's when it was boom, Mark Rogers TV. So just wanted to give a shout out, even though I hate that term, give a shout out to those folks that are the first subscribers who are still subscribers. That's pretty amazing. All right. And in the at least recent tradition of the State of the Union address. Hopefully, I'm stammering around and not making much sense as much as possible. I'll try to keep that up. All right. Again, I was hoping we would have graphics to accompany this, but hey, with any YouTube channel, content is king, right? That's the old adage. Content is king. You got to have good content or you don't get noticed and everybody ignores you. Or maybe even if you've got a catchy slogan and fancy graphics and a great set and you've got great marketing to go grab people, they're going to watch one time and say, this guy sucks. Bye. See ya. So content is king. But I did put some question marks there because I don't necessarily believe that it's king anymore. I think it's still extremely important to keep viewers, but to be able to bring them in, I think is basically the key to YouTube success these days. It's more about the marketing, the algorithms. So I think that has the marketing and algorithms have a checkmate on the king being content. So we are working on that, trying to do that better. And Joey is helping us, of course, with all of that. Before I take these two calls, I wanted to also mention we've got a few new shows coming up. And again, I wanted graphics to accompany this, but starting next Monday. So Monday at this exact time. So again, I know that it can't live up to the great Oreo cookie challenge, nor to the State of the Voice of College Football address. But next Monday, we're starting a show, Big Ten Live. We are doing at least 2 hours of Big Ten talk every Monday. You hear that, David Greenshield? Every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, at least 2 hours of Big Ten talk, bringing on the best people we can find to talk Big Ten and, of course, taking all your calls. And then cover your ears, David Greenshield, on Tuesday, starting next Tuesday at noon Eastern, SEC Live. So that's starting next Tuesday, every Tuesday, SEC football talk. For those of you who think that I may lean one way or the other. Now, the other 3 conferences or the other 8 conferences, yes, I'm only one person. And even to add those 2 is a bit of a lift. So if you would like a Big 12 show, if you would like an ACC show, if you would like a Mountain West show, get it sponsored and look me up and we will discuss it. There you go. All right, let's start taking some calls. Even though I've got a long list of other things to talk about, we will start taking some calls here, and we will start with our buddy Jackson.
How's
Jackson,
it going, Mark? Long time no see. How's it going?
I am doing well.
Love the state of address on Voice of College Football. It's
Yes.
fantastic. So, a couple questions I got. One of them's college, and one of them's well, a couple of them are NFL draft related.
Oh,
Nope, no draft related stuff.
no, nothing. No college football talk. We are the worst place for college football talk tonight. No college football talk. It's banned.
Ooh, as of
This
today.
is the State of the Voice of College Football address.
Ooh, the state of oh, all right.
So, Jackson, I would love to talk to you about college football. 364 days, 22 hours out of the year.
Ooh.
But not for the next few hours. We're talking about the channel, and that's it. Yes, sir.
Well,
do you have anything to say about the channel?
Oh man, it's fantastic. Let's get to 1 million subs.
Yeah, let's get to well, we'll lay out some goals a little bit later in the show, but Jackson is setting us at 10 million.
Well, we're gonna make sure it gets higher. And I love that show that's coming up that you were talking about, the Big Ten show that's starting
Big
next
Ten
Monday.
show. Yeah, it's about time. We'll do a Big Ten show. And I hate to ignore the other conferences. We will do an SEC show on Tuesdays as well. Hate to ignore the other big conferences, but yeah, okay. I can only do so many shows.
There we go.
We're going to start with those 2.
There we go. And it's going to be fantastic. And we got a new month starting up on Wednesday. Tell you what, time flies by, doesn't it?
It does. It's going to be spring football, and we're going to go at spring football heavy and full throttle all the time.
Ooh,
Jackson, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being the first caller. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I will talk college football with you anytime except
absolutely.
tonight.
It's up tonight. All right, man. Thank you.
Have a good one, Jackson. We'll see you.
You
Have a
too,
good night.
Mark.
All right, let's keep it rolling here at the Voice of College Football. We got Mr. David Greenshield, Dr. Buckeye.
Yes, thank you. Well, maybe that's a new nickname. We'll see if that one sticks. By the way, you survived the Oreo challenge. Huh? Well, that's good.
I had 34.
You ate 34 Oreos.
Yeah.
Be
It
careful, though.
wasn't. I had a very strange reaction to it because my body is pretty accustomed to about 15 to 20
Yeah.
easily. That's no,
Yes.
that's no, but that particular night, I only had about 3 and I already
Yeah.
knew, I just, maybe it was the pressure of performing in front of everyone while eating the Oreos. I don't know what it was.
Lots of
But
sugar.
so for like an hour after we got done, like I couldn't wait. Like the last hour was just painful. It was just was not feeling well. And then we got done, and for like an hour, I don't want to try to describe how I felt or what could have been the outcome. And then I thought it was going to take like a long night's sleep or something to get it out of my system, and some other things to get it out of my system. But my body just kind of like sprang to attention after like an hour, and I felt perfectly fine.
Yeah, lots of sugar there. Be careful,
Yeah.
Mark. A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. You got to be. That is a lot of sugar there, my friend. I did want to talk to you a little bit. Well, actually, I would have loved to talk to a little bit about college football, but I understand it's about the channel. But I do actually, to that point, I have a few things. First of all, thank you for, I definitely wanted to see a Big Ten, kind of show. I was hoping for I love what the Pac-12 guys do, but I would love to see a Big Ten show. So that's going to be on a once a week basis every Monday, then, right, Mark?
Every
Going
Monday at
forward.
6, and you're gonna see a
Okay.
lot of the regulars that you typically see. However, we would obviously like, since those people can be found on the other shows at various times in the week, would love to get some fresh perspectives, some fresh blood on here. And
Yeah.
so if you have any suggestions on other people that you would like to see within the Big Ten media circle, certainly we'll reach out to him. So let us know. And by the way, that reminds me that we're going to have Zach Smith on live for an hour tomorrow at 1:30.
Good old Zach, Menace to Sports.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You listen to him from time to time. Yeah, he does a good job. That should be good. I mean, I actually it's interesting. I was going to ask you, of all the conferences, which conference has the most representation on Mark Rogers TV? Is it the Big Ten, or which conference has the largest contingent of a fan base on Mark Rogers?
So yeah, I really don't know how long I was just talking to a handful of people, and at times still do. But anyway, was talking to a handful of people. And then really I think we got this big Miami surge because I would have
Yeah.
on our buddy Cam Underwood from State of the U, and he would post the videos on the State of the U, which is one of the top 2 or 3 SB Nation sites. And we would get 25 views to every video, and then the Miami videos would get 1,000 views. And I think I got this big Miami contingent, which caused me to start a Miami channel. That was the first team channel that we started. So I think most of those Miami fans are over there. I don't think they
Okay.
take part over here too much, but they've got like, about 7,000, 8,000 strong on the Miami channel in terms of subscribers. I think it's when I was taking mailing. Do you remember when I was taking email addresses? I was asking people to write me and tell
Okay.
me
I think
who
I
they
do.
root for because I wanted to get an accurate count. And
That's
then I
right.
did that for a couple months and I gave up. But I still do have that count. And it was like an Ohio State, Michigan, way above everybody else.
Well, that's true. Well, let's continue to grow that Ohio State base as much as we can. Let's
I
hope that.
actually, David, I'm sorry, but for business purposes, I would love to even things out.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand how it works. I understand. But well, what's interesting with Big Ten, I know you've got Purdue. You got a couple. Well, Michael Hogg's a big Purdue guy. And, unfortunately, you have way too many fans of that team up north for my liking. You do
Maybe
have
the
some Penn
most.
State you do have some Penn State fans though, right? I think you have a do you still do a Penn State show? Or you have on the Penn State guys?
We've got a couple guys from SB Nation, from
Yeah.
Tim Aiden and Marty Leap, and they come on here and do Penn State post game, and we do some Penn State. We got a Penn State channel that's not exactly lighting the world on fire, but we got about 500 subs over there. We need to push that a little bit, but I would actually guess that Michigan State is our third rep from the Big Ten.
Really? Even over Penn State?
Yeah, I think when I post Michigan State videos, they do better than any other team in the conference, except
Any love
Big
for
Two.
Wisconsin out there, Mark?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of Wisconsin people have found me. Although when I made a post the other day because I had this idea that I wanted to do these kind of quick 4 or 5 minute quick hitters with a spring update.
Yeah.
And I asked people to make a request, and like the second or third one was a Wisconsin request.
Oh, that's good. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know where you were with theirs because I know you've had on some like of their people that cover the team from them in the past, but
Yeah.
I didn't know how much let's say Wisconsin fans are on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm encouraged by that. See, so you already have Pac-12. You're going to have you have Big Ten, then you have SEC. Eventually, going to get to ACC or Big 12, or is that like? Well, because I mean, really, after a while, what's the ACC and what's the Big 12 going to be like? Once, I
Yeah.
mean,
I should maybe conjecture on that and post some videos, I guess. That seems to be the thing to do. But
right.
I will tell you that a long, long time ago, when I probably had 100 subs, that I did a Wednesday night where I did every conference for an hour and brought people
Wow.
on. And so we did have an ACC live, and we did have a Big 12 live, and yes, we did that for quite a long time, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, something in that range. So maybe we'll get back to that.
Yeah, I used to love one good thing that ESPN used to do back in the early '90s. I remember. Do you remember when they used to do the Blitz
Oh yeah,
on the kind of wraparound of previewing the big games in each conference in college football every week?
oh
I always
yeah.
thought they did a good job with that. I missed that.
They
Of
used to
course,
do
that's
a
when
good
college
job
football.
with a lot of things.
That's true. Well, ever since they lost Mark Rogers, the channel just
Yeah,
totally.
I was directing that play. Sure.
You were the glue, Mark. You were the glue. Um, hey, by the way, is the one still happening with you and Mr. Dace? I saw it
Yeah,
got canceled last week.
we did have to cancel that last week, but we should be back at it this Thursday.
Okay. Does that appear to have a strong future ahead of it, or what do you think?
Well, I was certainly hoping it was going to have a strong future, but I'll say this about that: based on the number of people that we typically had watching Steve and I, anytime that he would come on, whether it was a recorded segment or a live, that gave me the confirmation of all the people that told me that we should produce content on a regular basis. So I had more people suggesting out of anybody else that they wanted to see Steve Dace on here. And then once we got this started, it's done okay, but not well enough based on how much is being put into it. It has to
I,
do better.
I hear you. I thought you had a better crowd the last show that you had a couple weeks ago. Seemed like there were more people there than were maybe in previous weeks.
Well, the thing that I did at least the last week, it might be the last 2 weeks, is this hit me way too late that just starting up a show at a particular time, it's difficult for people to find it. And so if you just open up the live stream, start talking, and are immediately here, that a lot of people funnel in, as you see, possibly if you check out any of the numbers, and it seems like you do. If I'm on
Right.
here for 2 or 3 hours, well, I got more people on here after 2 or 3 hours than I did the first 5 minutes, because it takes people time to come in, even if there are all sorts of notifications out there. So I figured 2 weeks ago, oh, why don't I show up a half hour early gather a crowd, and then Steve will pop on at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I know you moved the time. You were 5:30, then you went, I think, went to 4:30 with that. Kind of
Yeah.
adjusted the time a little
So
bit.
we're going to hit at 4:30 this Thursday,
Okay.
and Steve will be on at 5.
Okay. That's cool. Hey, you had tried once in the past. One other thing I was going to ask you about is I think you had tried in the past like an X's and O's kind of show, Mark. Had you got much response from that?
I would love to do that. And so the one guy that was really good communicator and willing to do it actually was from the Miami site on SB Nation,
Yeah.
Justin DeTavio. And he's a high school football coach, and he runs a lot of camps and so forth. So that's funny you say that, because I've had him in mind the last couple months to flag him down and see if we should pull something together again.
Have you heard of that Coach JB show? I haven't caught that yet. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
He's got a show. Zach's on it from time to time. He does some breakdowns of college and pro. I think that was Coach JB, I believe is the name on YouTube, and he does some breakdowns. But yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoy some of the X's and O's analysis, and
I
I
love
did
it.
listen to that one podcast when you had him on in the past.
Yeah. One of the first mainstays that I had to see every week was the Ron Jaworski, Merrill Hodge
Yes,
uh,
Edge NFL matchup
Edge NFL matchup. I couldn't think
was
of the
well
name of
done.
it.
Yep. I still think they do that. I think Greg Cosell is on the new one, if I'm not mistaken, who does good work. So,
I have not seen that for years.
well, you keep up the good work, my man.
Thank you, David.
And I'm going to be looking forward to the Big Ten show. You going to do another live show this week?
That's another thing we'll be talking about.
Okay.
Whether I should have a certain set schedule for these live call-in shows, because
Well,
I know I make it a bit difficult on all of you.
Well, as the last caller was kind of indicating, I mentioned something about draft. I would love to see some draft stuff down the road too, Mark, if you're going to get to it.
Well, your timing is impeccable again.
Okay.
Do you remember Rick Saratella? I don't know how long you've been watching, David, but Rick
I've
Saratella,
been with you about 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. So he
Okay.
is the founder of the NFL Draft Bible.
Okay.
And we used to have him on every year, and we would run through every position, and we would do live streams and take calls. And yeah, so I will try to do something like that again.
That's cool. I would really enjoy that, especially as we get closer to the draft. Well, as always, next time we'll talk college football, Mark, right?
We will talk some college
364
football.
days.
364 and 22 hours. Yes.
I hear you. Thanks, my friend.
Thank
Enjoy.
you, David. Have a good
Take
one.
care.
All right. We will keep it rolling with another familiar face. John's checking in. One Scoop John. What's going on, John?
Hey, Mark. Thanks for the shout out, man. That was cool.
Of course. You've earned it and more.
That meant a lot. And it's been great being on the Michigan show the last couple of weeks. Just been having a great time with that, and hang out with Isaiah Hull. I mean, I think any Michigan fan who knows anything about sports media and stuff would enjoy doing that.
Yeah, it's been very nice for Isaiah to come on now about 3 times, something in that range, and to
He's
be
good.
open to come on a number of times, and has basically said, yeah, I don't know if I can make it on every week, but I can make it on quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to his insight.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the Big Ten show. Obviously going to help however I can and be on. And obviously, my dream one day is to be on with Corey Bratta. If we could do a show one day, wouldn't that be fun? Just like a one-off,
You and
for
Corey.
Big Ten show. Why not?
Okay.
Chop it up.
Corey, I will have to let him know. I know Corey has a lot of fans out there. I will let him know that I'm aware of another one.
Eric of them. Yeah, Erica's one of them, and we try to hang. I try to go over there to Hawkeye the Storm sometimes, and Eric and I hang out, and Casey and some of those people. It's a good time. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this brief. Obviously, just has been it's a great time being on here, and everyone's support is so great. We just obviously just launched the Mark Rogers merch. So I just got a coffee mug and I got a t-shirt while I was on the treadmill. So, don't try that at home, but I did. So I'm excited because, I'm a sucker for a coffee mug.
Well, that is awesome. That is awesome
Yeah.
to hear. I haven't even gotten to that portion of the show to announce the
sorry,
launching of
I'm
the
ahead of
merch.
you.
No, that's okay. No. That's quite all right. I posted a did I post a link? I don't remember now. Yes, I did. I already posted the link in the chat. I just hadn't brought it up yet.
Yeah. Well, Joey and I have been posting it, and Ben and everybody, we've been posting it. So that way people can check it out now, because it's been long awaited, and we're here. And there's actually a good variety of stuff for the whole family and friends. And you can get everybody decked out in some Voice of College Football merch.
Yes, I can't wait to display some of this. I've got a stack of it right here that we're going to display. And I would have a shirt on myself, but they're all short sleeves, and I wanted to have a long sleeve shirt on. It's a bit nippy today. And yeah, we'll drop the link. We'll talk about the merch. And of course, Joey's the guy that masterminded all of that. And I'm also happy to know that I was able during our conversation to get back into iMovie so I could save the graphic that I wanted to display with a number of these items.
So David did mention the X's and O's concept, and
yes.
So if you remember, D4 Sports and I, we did film breakdown on the Michigan show that we did every week, and so I'm happy if the situation allows to do a couple minutes of that sometime, and that's always a fun time, because I think people really crave some of that stuff. Now it's like the Die Hard, so I don't know if we would do a whole show of it necessarily, but I would love to do like a couple of minutes of, like, how Fox sometimes they do that with that whiteboard.
Oh yeah.
And all of that, that would be fun to do, like, as a segment.
Yeah, I just have to find some qualified people.
Right.
So we got D4 as an option, and possibly.
Yeah.
And again, I used to bring on Justin DeTavio from State of the U.
Yeah, man. So anyway, Erica rules. I did a super chat saying Erica rules, and Erica just sent another $2 super chat. John and Corey could talk about Cade and Eric together. That's kind of what I was thinking, Erica. I was thinking we could go Eric All, the tight end that transferred from Michigan to Iowa. Yeah, I mean that would definitely, if we ever did a show together, I'm pretty sure Cade and Eric All would come up as a topic. Absolutely.
Yes, it's the Iowa-Michigan connection, and hopefully they will face each other. Well, it's not hopefully for me. I wish they would have faced each other in the regular season, I was going to say, in the Big Ten championship game, but I do not want to see that. But it would be interesting from the dynamic, of course. Cade's had a few things to say, of course, about his former program.
A few things. So I just, again, thanks everybody for your support. Thanks, Mark, for having me on these things, and join the Patreon. $5, and you can join the knuckleheads like me all the time. We talk college football all the time. We have shows we'll bring After Dark back at various points, pending approvals on that, but I'd love to do that again. And if you're a Patreon member, you can be on that show. You just, what people always say, well, we don't want as many Michigan people. Well, then get your Buckeye friends, get your Penn State friends, get your Wisconsin friends, get your Texas friends, get your whatever, Wichita State, doesn't matter. Like, we love more representation, and, like you said, spreading it out. So join the Patreon.
Absolutely. Love it.
All right, man.
John,
all right.
Thank you so much for dropping in, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Wednesday it is. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Thanks, John. We'll see you.
All right, bye.
Our buddy John You know him better as One Scoop John. He has helped us so tremendously in a number of ways, most recently on the Michigan show that, again, we will have another edition of coming up this Wednesday at 5 Eastern. And as I bring in Joey, I'm going to pull up the Discord and give you guys a look-see on what that looks like since John brought it up. And it's on the agenda. It is on the show sheet. So here we go. This is when I need somebody else working all this because it takes me forever, but we'll get there. Bam. And let's bring Joey in here. So Joey, what we've got on the screen, and I'll catch up on these super chats. Thank you so much, everyone, for the super chat contributions. But Joey, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Mark. I'm excited about the state of the channel and the new things that are going on, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to keep up with for everybody. So, yeah, what Mark's got up here is the Discord where we sit and talk college football. You can see a post there from me and Ty Guy where we were talking back and forth. But you can also find out in there about certain shows that are coming up. So, like, it's great on Discord. Because if Mark and I discuss a show and he says, well, we'll do that show next Wednesday, I'll post it in Discord. Hey, next Wednesday is going to be a special show. So, it's a great way to learn what's coming up on the channel. So anybody that's a member of Patreon will get a link to be in Discord. And it's $5 a month. And I mean, we talk college football in there all the time. We do little private streams. We get together and just hang out and talk. It's just a lot of fun. So everybody should join that. But we have a lot of things. I'm going to go over one more thing too. If you're a writer or you like writing articles, Mark has writers right now that are on Substack. So Substack.com, just search for the Voice of College Football, and you'll see some articles written by writers that write for Mark. And if you'd like to become a writer, just send Mark an email. And let him know, and we'll get you on Substack, create you a place to write your articles. It's a great way to get noticed and talk about your team, get your team recognized, get your conference recognized, whatever you want to write on, so long as it's college football related.
Yeah, so we're in the process of building out a site as well. So Joey's done a phenomenal job of building us a site, a temporary site that's a great place that we are going to, regardless of how long the other site takes us, we want to populate that with college football information, and we got the store there. And again, as Joey just mentioned, we want writers to take part, and we've got a couple lined up. And we're going to have our buddy Matt Zemek, once we roll out the new site, ready to deliver a lot of good articles as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the new site. I know that he's working real hard on it. Been working on it now. We planned this back in September of last year. Let everybody know how long this transition's taken. We started planning this, and it was September, wasn't it, Mark? Pretty sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it was.
So it takes a while. It takes a while to do all this. But we do have the merchandise store launched. We have been posting the link in the chat. And there's new items being added. I haven't finished adding all the items yet. We will have more items. We're going to have some items that are less priced. We're going to have items that are more priced as well, because we'll have some jackets and different hats. We got some hats in there already, but we'll have some different ones. We have different logos. We have the Top 25 that actually makes sense logo. We have the Voice of College Football logo. So, you can swap those logos around on any merchandise that you want, or you can use both logos if you want. There's different options you can do on everything. So, and every product that we have in there is top quality. We're not putting any junk in there. So when you look at the price and you say, well, that's a little high, it's top quality. It's the best there is. So don't think you're going to get cheap stuff like you get. These other content creators are using like Teespring or something like that. Really low quality stuff. We're using the best of everything.
Well, I finally found it here. Here we go. There we've got Joey, you just came up with these shoes the other day.
Yeah.
You shocked me with those. Those are slick. Those are something else.
Yeah, and I'll be adding some tennis shoes as well. We've got some tennis shoes I'm going to add. So everything is branded. Everything is Mark Rogers brand, or Butcher College football brand, rather. And we have absolutely everything. We have good quality and top quality merchandise. So you'll see some stuff that says top quality. You'll see some stuff that says good quality. The good quality is a little bit cheaper than the top quality for obvious reasons. So, but it's still great quality merchandise. It doesn't matter which one you buy, really. And we do have some women's clothes, and we'll be adding more women's clothes as well.
So here we have what Joey sent me to give me a sample a couple weeks ago. So we got ourselves a nice looking dress shirt there. Let's see if I can handle all this at the same time. There we go. It's a nice looking shirt that I've had on already from North End. So we've got the dress shirt. We have, of course, now Joey, I've already gotten a lot of mileage out of this. I wear this all over the place. This is now, I've dissed my other jackets, and this has become the go-to right there.
Yeah, it's a nice jacket. I like that jacket.
It is. Very nice jacket. All right. What do we got next? I haven't worn this bad boy yet, but the polo. Very nice. Good look there. Voice of college football. Another one here in red. And
yes, Mike, you could fill the pockets with Oreo cookies.
You can do that.
It does have big pockets in the hoodie.
Yeah. You know that I tested that out already. So, and then Joey even worked his magic on, you can see it here, the top 25 that actually makes sense. How about that? And I really like this jacket too.
Yeah, it's a nice jacket as well.
I favor this jacket over the other one, and I do favor black. I'm not big into wearing red jackets, but for some reason I've been wearing that other one all the time. You guys may notice that I wear a lot of black, so I'm all set. My daughter's wearing this one quite a bit, and there we go. We got the hoodie. And in terms of the color options, Joey, what's typical? Does it depend on the product?
Yeah, it depends on the product and on the logo too. Is the logo going to show up on the product? For instance, if you have a logo that's got a lot of red in it, you obviously don't want a red shirt because it's going to blend in. So, we may not offer a red shirt. Now, if you want a red shirt and you have to have it, you can always just tell me in a note that you want a red shirt, and we can make it red for you. Just know that some of the logos may not show up, just according to what you order. So, but yeah, you can select options on the website. You have all the different options. You can select the logo. You can select the collar you like. Like this, for instance, if you open up the hoodie, there, Mark, you'll see there's different collars. So the top quality hoodie's just got a few different collars, but the leather hoodie has several different collars, and you can choose several different logos. So you have black, navy, maroon, red. You have different colors. I didn't put the colors on the page so you could see them. I'm sorry about that. I kind of pushed for time on that one. All the others will do that, though. All the others will do that. We'll show you the colors. So if you want a white one, it'll show you what it would look like on white. For instance, on the other hoodie, the top quality hoodie, the one right beside of it. If you open that one, now you'll be able to see all the different colors and things if you scroll down. So there's just a few colors on the top quality hoodie. And that's what happens when you get into really high quality merchandise. They just give you a few different colors. So, but those are really nice jackets. I mean, those are super nice.
Love it.
But,
yeah.
But we're trying to bring you top quality stuff. We don't want to, we just didn't want to go with Teespring and all these other places that offer, t-shirts, and we have to charge you $22 for a t-shirt that lasts for 2 months and you got to throw it away. This stuff will last for years. So just know that when you buy it, you're getting top quality merchandise.
Joey, you've done an amazing job. And not just for me, we've got a series of content creators here on YouTube, and you will see them once you go into the merchandise store for me that you can connect to. I don't even want to start on the list because there's all sorts of folks, but you will see that we've banded together, and Joey's pulled us all together for us to help and support and promote each other. And so you can buy something from myself and then head on over and see what else is available.
Right. So if you want a t-shirt from Pigskin Pete as well, so Pigskin Pete's in the network, Golden Blue Dude's in the network. We got a lot of people in the network. So you can buy a shirt from Mark Rogers and then buy a shirt from Pigskin Pete and get a discount. And then maybe pick one up for Golden Blue Dude and get an even bigger discount. So the more you buy, the more your discount is. And it doesn't matter what creator you use. If you can buy one from each one, you get a huge discount, almost 50% off if you buy a shirt from each creator or hoodie or whatever. Buy whatever you want from each creator. All right,
Good,
look, I don't guess I have anything else. I just wanted to talk about that, and especially talk about writers and Substack. That's going to change, but it's still a platform right now until the website gets up. So, if anybody would like to write for Mark, be sure and let him know. Send him an email, MarkRogersTV@gmail.com. And
that's it.
And he will take care of you. That's all I got, Mark. And I seen that John placed an order, and Mike's telling me now that he just placed an order, so that's great. So we'll get that stuff. We'll get that stuff made, sent out to you, and everybody enjoy it.
Sweet.
All right.
Take
Joey. Care, Mark.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Joey's done an amazing job, and again, we have looked for the best merchandise, and we've made it very affordable. Just trust me on that in regards to us wanting more than anything to get the word out. That's the beyond the the margin of it was, let's get the word out. Let's do what we can to get gear in people's hands to get the word out. So Randy, I'll take your call in 2 seconds. Let me pick off these super chats. Want to get to those. So we got Erica says John and Corey could talk about Cade and Eric together. Yes, John referenced that. Of course, Eric All, Cade McNamara with Iowa. And I think I got the others. I believe those came down from John. We also have Jason. Jason, thank you so much for that. Though he's an Ohio State fan, Mark has the best college football content. Appreciate that, Jason. Thank you so much for being here. We've had Jason here on a regular basis for I don't know how long, but Jason is a loyal member of our college football community. Erica, we need Oreo's Voice of College Football merch. Yes, maybe that's the next one we take off on. Some yes, Oreo cookie Voice of College Football merch. Actually had somebody, as I bring Randy in to join the show, had somebody suggest this guy had a list of things that I had said that he thought were funny, poignant, something. The one that I remember is he thought that we should make a shirt and a jacket that had a quote from me on the back that said something to the effect of you can be a moron, just don't be a dishonest one. Because apparently I had told somebody that they didn't know what they were talking about, and then they were saying all sorts of things against me that weren't the truth. And I said, you can be a moron, but at least don't be a dishonest one. Randy, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, Mark. How are you?
I am doing just fine. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I was settling in for a night at work, and I looked up and saw that you were live at 6, and I remembered what the show was about, and I wanted to take a second as a fellow content creator who's bounced around in different genres and things like that, just to let you know, you're doing a good job, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I just wanted to celebrate with you, right? Because it's a lot of hard work to do this kind of stuff and be consistent with it. And as someone who does it, I fully understand. And I just offering a little support and congratulations, because like I said, I enjoy the show and it gets us through the off season. So thanks for being there.
Randy, I am so glad that you found us, and you have over the last couple months decided to call in, and we've had some great conversations about Georgia football, and appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where I love to be in the sphere of, the SEC and my team, of course. But it, like I said before, it's nice to look around the nation and see what everybody else is talking about, and maybe gain some new perspective on some things. And it keeps you from drinking too much of your own Kool-Aid, if you know what I mean. So it's I think it's good business to look around and take stock of what's happening in other places and go from there. Because again, when it comes back to the content creation stuff, like it takes time and it takes a lot of dedication. So even when you're not in front of the machine or you're not in front of the camera, I don't want to speak for you, but I know for me that I'm never not working, right? It's always a thumbnail, or it's research, or it's something, right? It's an idea. I'm pestering Mrs. A Damn Beast with different content ideas or whatever it is. So for you and everybody that's in your sphere, keep up the good work, because those of us out here who are on the other end of it, we appreciate it. And it's like I tell everybody all the time, it costs you nothing to hit that thumbs up, costs you nothing to subscribe to get the updates, so if you enjoy the stuff, stick around, do that. And that really does a lot, to help a channel grow. So for anybody out there who's like, maybe this merch isn't your thing, that's fine. You're doing a great job just by being here and showing your support and interacting with the page. And so kudos to you as well.
Yes, you are exactly right, Randy, because I just appreciate the view. The one view that somebody out there, if they take the time to check out what I had to say about whatever the topic, that's a contribution. So, certainly we enjoy and benefit from and are grateful for other contributions in so many other ways. Please hit the like button. I say that from time to time, even if you don't agree with me. If you like what we do in terms of delivering content, at least hit the like button, because YouTube likes that. That's not to, stroke our egos as content creators. It's just simply what YouTube wants to see. They want to see interaction through comments, and they want to see interaction through hitting the like button.
Absolutely. And, it's like you said, any particular video may not be your cup of tea or whatever, but if folks are coming around and giving you a chance, then I don't know what else we can ask for. So, I know I've enjoyed being in your chat and talking back and forth with people, and that sort of interaction. I don't know exactly about how live stream chats, impact that sort of stuff, but it doesn't matter, because the people who are in the chat, we enjoy it. Right. So I know I appreciate everyone who's taking the time to banter with me a little bit and answer questions and things like that. So again, I just wanted to pop in for a second and celebrate with you. I don't know if it's a celebration, but that's how I'm coming into it. And just offer some encouragement, because again, I know what it's like. So good on you.
Randy, I did not see it as a celebration, but if you say it's a celebration, and if you're going to help us celebrate, shoot, we'll turn it into a celebration. I like that.
Don't we have to celebrate the small things? I promise you, I do. Every time I hit something that I think looks just right, make a decision that is not a big deal to anybody else, but it's a big deal to us. When we work through the process of creation, I think those things should be acknowledged and recognized. So, it keeps us from burning out and feeling too stressed, because this is supposed to be fun. I mean, we chose what we chose because we enjoyed it, at least on some level. So,
well, Randy, thank you so much for stopping by. And you had mentioned your channel, so please let everyone know where they can find you.
Oh, well, that's very gracious. If I dropped it, I didn't mean to. I appreciate you extending the offer, but we're just getting started. I've been doing other content creation around other things for a few years, but because of my day job, I've been hesitant to step into the sports world. But I think I found a way to do it where it doesn't step on anybody's toes. So you can find us at A Damn Beast Media here on YouTube and everywhere. And we produce content across all platforms, including TikTok, where we get silly sometimes. And there's a podcast that goes along with it. So if you like the SEC, if you like Georgia stuff, if you just like a different take on college football as a whole, I would appreciate you checking us out.
Well, Randy, I had no idea that you were Damn Beast Media.
Really?
I had no idea.
Really?
No.
Did you know me? I mean, did you know the channel somehow?
Well, I just saw your handle. I see your handle
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
chat. Yeah.
I see. Yes, that's me. I am a Damn Beast Media. It's
Okay.
my I have a quick story about that if you're interested. Just
Yeah.
as a side, when I was in high school, I had the privilege of playing for a high school football coach who is a Hall of Famer here in the state of Georgia. And one of the things that we all enjoyed about him as after we graduated and looked back was if there was a problem in practice or in the game, but especially in practice, what you would hear from him would be something to the effect of, I hope I didn't fall out too much there. But what you would hear from him is something to the effect of, well, that's a damn be concerned about whatever we were working on. And so we would rag each other and be like, that's a damn bust, talking about busting the coverage or something. And so as I got older, that sort of twisted itself, and we would refer to good things as that guy's a damn beast. And so that's how the name became what it was. It just all kind of got tied together based on my history.
High school football stories. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, good stuff.
Thank you,
But
Randy.
thank you for having me on. And again, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.
Our buddy Randy stopping by. And certainly we've got folks that have been watching for a week or a year or 10 years or whatever the case might be. And again, wanted to say thank you to all those folks up there. I did so off the top, but did not have the graphic ready to go. So it's always nice to say. And again, all sorts of people are contributing. You see the folks that are on screen, whether that's on the USC show, the Ohio State show, or the various 10 or 11 shows that we do on a regular basis. So we thank them every week, of course, for their contribution and showing up and doing what they do. There are all the team channels that I reference. And, if you're talking about Steve Hellwagon, Tony Gerdeman, Jason, Ray, doing the Oklahoma show, all those guys are phenomenal. And we appreciate their contributions as well. Wanted to get to Tide Guy delivering some pesos for me. Has anyone done the conversion on this? Tide Guy showing up for us tonight. Hopefully having a good time tonight. Some tacos, please. Tide Guy, no mention of food tonight, please. So if anybody saw the short that I posted today, I run in extremes. So downing 34. See, the downing of the 34 double stuff Oreo cookies in the 3 glasses of milk last Monday, it's now been a week, wasn't necessarily the high point or the low point, depending on how you look at it. It was the 25 or 30 Chips Ahoy the night before, and it was the 7 or 8 Chips Ahoy the day of, and it was all the cookies and ice cream that I consume on a regular basis. So, as I mentioned on the short, you'll have to check it out, posted a short this morning where I basically said, today, actually, I started my fast a few days ago, but then I decided, okay, I'm going to take people through the journey. I'm going to take all of you through the journey of the fast. So even though this is actually day 6 or 7, we're going to start over on the fast. So it's day 1. And every day I'm going to post a short. We're going to talk about the fast. I'm eating nothing but fruits and vegetables. That's it. Fruits, vegetables, throw some nuts in there. Did have a protein shake in there as well after I checked out the contents. And that really got me. I purchased a couple 32-ounce jugs of protein shake. And man, when you're not eating anything else that has any kind of flavor or sweetness to it, man, those things taste like milkshakes. They're a gift from above. They're just phenomenal. So, protein shakes, almonds, nuts, but other than that, just fruits and vegetables. 30 days. This is a spiritual fast first and foremost, but it's also to clean out my system. It's always for nutritional benefits as well. So this is going to be the longest I've ever gone on that type of diet. So I'll need all the support I can get on that one. All right, Jason, back at it. So happy for you, Mark, with the new merch. Yes, I've been talking about merch. There is a guy who's going to be so happy on the Florida State channel who talks up the merch all the time. He is constantly, see if I can, if I can get us back to where we need to be here. He is constantly asking about merch. And this has been going on for years. And I don't want to take you through the saga, but I have tried to put together merchandise for so many times and wasted so many hours and had merchandise come back to me that I've ordered after I've gone through the process with the company of setting it up and everything. And then it comes back and it's bad. Like my logo didn't come out on the shirt, or the mug. They gave me a black mug and they didn't print the logo over the black paint on the on the mug. They did it underneath. And once I received that, I was like done. I was like, forget this. I am so sick of trying to get this merch ready and get it right. I've wasted so much time on this. And then Joey came to my rescue. So that was phenomenal. As you saw on the screen just a few minutes ago, Big Ten show starts next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Big Ten Live right here at the Voice of College Football every Monday at 6. SEC Live. Who knows? We may not need those other conference shows soon. It may just be the SEC and the Big Ten. But the SEC show starts next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. We got Zach Smith showing up. That is Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern live for an hour. So you'll want to catch that live. And I've got my next appearance on Steve Dace's Michigan podcast tomorrow afternoon. He's wanting me to talk about Michigan's spring training goals, spring football goals. So we'll look at that. All right. Next up, where else do we need to go with this show? I had so many notes going. Next up, content. Yes. So I got to tell all of you, and we've only got about 50 on the line, so we'll see how far we need to go with this, but we hope to have thousands watch this once it's posted. Is that content? I got to tell you, I struggle with content. I don't struggle with content ideas. I've got plenty of ideas. I've got Google documents with lists and lists and lists of content ideas. My issue is trying to find content ideas that you guys like. That's the deal there, is trying to find out what you guys want to see and want to hear. And I got to say that so we have always done our best to cover breaking news. And when I say breaking news, that means commits. That means coaches get fired, coaches get hired. We are on here live. We were on here live when Mark D'Antonio left Michigan State, when Mark Richt left Miami, Willie Taggart got fired from Florida State, Brian Kelly, Lincoln Riley, all those situations, bam, immediately we're here. We're talking with you live. However, there's in this day and age of social media, there's like a second layer of quote unquote news. I would not consider it news, but it is news. So I'm not going to buck the trend or try to fight uphill. It's news. And so I see other content creators. Again, I really don't watch it, but it pops up on my YouTube feed. I see other content creators in the college football realm who capitalize better than I do on whatever's being talked about that particular day. Like so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. And so I really hate to go in that direction. But if that's what people watch and they're not necessarily watching certain things that I want to deliver. So, for example, probably after spring football, I'm going to go through all of the national championships, as I have promised to do many times, is go through all the national championships and deliver to you what was justified, what was not justified, and redistribute national championships, because there are all sorts of national championships that are bogus and are not correct. And so I'm going to stop this loop at some point. So we're going to do that. Is I'm going to go through all the national championships pre-college football playoff, and we'll see how those videos do. Because I got to tell you, of course, I get disappointed when videos don't do well that I believe are really good videos. Otherwise, I wouldn't do them. But not everything resonates. I need to do a better job of having my beat on the pulse of what's out there. Because I got to tell you, I joined about a dozen college football Facebook groups because they invited me. And I started in these groups, and the asinine crap that is spewed out constantly from these people just annoyed me to no end, because I couldn't open up my Facebook and get through my feed without seeing 18 different morons that know nothing about college football posting the most ridiculous crap. And so I was like, this, although it would alert me to news, in amongst all the crap, there was news there. And so that's what's difficult. So I got to do a better job of keeping track of the news. Again, I can keep track of the actual news. Guys get hired and fired and commits, announce, those sorts of things. I can do that. But you know what I'm talking about. Because all you have to do is go to really any industry, but we're focused on college football, and see the college football content creators who talk about dumb crap. So I may or may not, depending on how it moves me, I may shut this down before I start talking about insane, asinine garbage. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I know what I like to create, but I am reminded by our friends at Think Media, who are YouTube gurus, that they say, content creators, don't create content for you. You're creating content for your viewers. And I need to keep that in mind, because much of the time I create content for me. Not that I'm doing it for me. I think I'm intending it for you, but I don't realize all the time that you could care less about. Now, I'm not going to name it because, the type of content that I create sometimes does not resonate, many times does not resonate. That leads me to our next topic along the lines of content. And that's, how do I say this? In a certain manner? I will say that, so we've not been performing well. That's all there is to it. So we started this channel technically in 2010. We really didn't do anything with it until 2013. Our buddy Randy, who called a few minutes ago, he certainly talked about celebrating. And when I hit 5,000 subscribers, shoot, I had a cake, we had balloons, we celebrated. That was in 2019. And then the growth from like 2018 to a year ago was great. I'm thankful for it. I think we celebrated, maybe we celebrated 10,000 views. I don't know. Or 10,000 subscribers, maybe 25, maybe. I remember having one more semi celebration, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be here celebrating every 1,000 subscribers because, for one thing, we don't want to set our sights low. We're not setting low goals. If we're going to set low goals and be satisfied, we're going to cease to exist. No, we're setting big goals that are meaningful, and we're going to thrive. We're going to succeed. We're not just going to exist on this platform. Again, at the point that I determined that we're just existing on this platform, we'll shut down and I'll go down to the local grocery store and stock shelves. So yeah, I'm not going to celebrate every 1,000 subscribers because for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been gaining 1,000 subscribers per month up until 4, 5, 6 months ago, something in that range. And now, so we have all sorts of theories. Joey and I, we don't know what's going on with the channel in regards to views because you guys know there are all sorts of nefarious things that go on out there by people or by corporations. So it could be just an algorithm issue where I'm not delivering the right content. I'm not marketing it correctly. My thumbnails suck. My set sucks. We'll get to that in a second. All those things could be contributing to stagnation. Never used that word before. Stagnation. So a lot of things can contribute to that that are legitimate. Maybe I'm just too old for the platform. I don't know. I'm certainly think I'm too old to get on TikTok, although that's been suggested. And of course, their short form programming clips are outrageous and blow up. Yeah, so any suggestions from any YouTube gurus out there? If you know YouTube, then hit me up and let me know what we need to do better here because we are doing our best. And what's funny about it is we talked about all the amazing people, all of you, but in particular people that help behind the scenes, led by Joey. 2 years ago, I didn't have anybody helping me. Shoot, maybe a year ago, I didn't have anybody helping at all. And we were doing better in regards to viewership and subscribers and growth. So if things don't pick up here soon, I'm going to contact YouTube directly and say, you know what, somebody have it out for me. So we will dig into that a little bit further. And again, no serious cause for concern. But again, as I mentioned off the top, State of the Union address, State of College Football address is about accomplishments. We gained 6,400 subs last year. We had 2.4 million views on this channel. Now, the year before, we had 2.7 million views, and we gained about 10,000 subs the year before. So again, got to do better. Maybe that means got to do a lot better. Because you know what my goal, we'll get to the goals. Goals got to be at the end. Social media. Man. Do you guys hate social media as much as I do? It could be such an amazing thing. And in certain small areas, it is an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing in small little doses. You see some good on social media, but most of it's so pointless. And a lot of it is just horrendous and disgusting. But I got to be on social media. So as part of my fast, I am not partaking in social media. Now I have to go on to the platforms and I have to post. So I can't, we can't survive here if I get off of Twitter and Facebook. I can't do that because that's part of the business. But aside from the business, I'm not partaking in social media. I'm going to do my very best to stay off of it for the next 30 days during my fast. So I'm fasting from social media as well. However, social media is important to the business. So first and foremost, go on over to Twitter and follow me, please. So I'm on Twitter. And you know what? I shouldn't ask you to follow me on Twitter. It should be because you want to, and it should be because you find value there. So you can join me on Twitter. I'm at MarkRogersTV. Jason is saying no TikTok. I tend to agree with you for a few different reasons, for political reasons as well, that I hear some nasty, nasty stuff about TikTok. So I don't think I'll delve into that. So we're established here on YouTube, obviously, and it's a social media platform of sorts because you can communicate with other people and talk. So it is a social media platform. But really, this is where we are. That's pretty much it. Now on Twitter, I've got 4,000 or 5,000 followers, but nothing substantial. But we are on Twitter. We have Facebook. And then there's, of course, Instagram. There's TikTok. There's Reddit. There's Rumble. There's Parler. There's all sorts of things. Well, I can't jump on all those at the same time because it'll just be a wasteland of me posting sporadically. So I have made it a point to post on Instagram. So you can please follow me on Instagram. You can find me at Voice of College Football. I will try to find that Instagram. Oh, I got to log in on this computer. I don't even know what that is. So we will not log in on Instagram right now. All right. Figures about 15 minutes before this show started, I got logged out of everything. I don't know if you guys have your different accounts set up like me, but I just go on YouTube. I'm already logged in. I'm already logged in on Facebook. I'm already logged in on everything. And something wiped out all my logins and I had to re-log in on everything. So apparently on Facebook and Instagram, I've got to log in as well. But you know who's picking me up here? One Scoop John. Look at that. There's the Instagram right there. He's got it. Thank you so much for that. But that was kind of odd because that hasn't happened in years where I got logged out of everything at the same time. James does not have Facebook or Twitter. James, good for you. Good for you. I sometimes think that if I wasn't doing this, that I wouldn't, but I probably still would. All right. So social media, again, I believe that based on feedback from certain people that Instagram is going to be the next target to try to build that up. Then we'll move on to Facebook. We do have a Facebook, not that you can't catch us on Facebook. And please like us and join the page there on Facebook. It's easy to find Voice of College Football. But we're going to focus on Instagram next. All right, we do have a call coming in. We got our buddy Chris on the line. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Fine. How are you, Mark?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, I missed most of your show. I'm sorry. I kind of caught just the tail end of it here.
Quite all right.
I don't want you to have to go over whatever you just said, but so is it that you're trying to expand yourself out a little bit there on your, is that what you're getting at? Maybe trying to put a little bit broader on the Instagram and all that?
Yeah, so this is our state of college football address is what this is. So we're just talking about the channel, talking about our challenges and accomplishments. Hopefully we've had some, and our vision for the future. So actually, I did have an Instagram account a few years ago for the Voice of College Football, and it wasn't huge or anything. I just started, but it had about 1,000 followers, and it got wiped out at the same time that my Facebook got hacked. So it wiped out both of those, so I had to restart it.
Well, I enjoy. I've always enjoyed your shows. You seem to really know how to give the information in a way that makes people, I think, interested in hearing what you have to say. And I'm not just saying that. I think I'm just speaking for myself, obviously, but I think there's a lot of credibility, I guess, to what, it's not just you just blowing smoke or, I think you say what's on your mind, but it's usually pretty important or at least relevant. And I get a lot, I learn a lot from what you say. And so I just wanted to say I appreciate for, what you're able to do for the show. It makes me want to tune in because, I have an interest in the sport, but I don't have a whole lot of information behind my end of it. I just, I try to work the statistical part of it, but really that's using somebody, that's using another, it's really not my information. So it's like, I just kind of share it when I have it. But I did do another one today though, but I don't know if I've mailed it to you yet, but it just basically kind of gives a summary of where the conferences stack up in their history. And it really kind of followed through with what you would expect it to be. But I was kind of interested in it because, it included, like, for example, Sunbelt.
Hey, Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we are just talking about the channel just in this particular live stream. So we're not even talking about college football just for this particular live stream. So for all the 364 plus days of the year, I would certainly want to hear what you had to say, but we're just going to talk about the channel. But I thank you so much for what you had to say. And actually, the only reason I'm going to agree with you is because if there's one thing I try to adhere to is that if I'm knowledgeable about something, if I know about something, then I will express my opinion. But if I don't know, then I'll just keep my mouth shut. Or if somebody asks me about something and I will let them know I haven't looked into that. I'm sorry, I don't know about that. So I will not make things up.
Oh, I understand. I guess what I was trying to explain to you though is, if we're, if I'm able to do my end of it, which is just a small part of it, but if I'm able to do that right, hopefully it makes it, if nothing else, maybe gives us something to talk about when we do have a, but if you don't want to, if that's something you don't want to mention, that's fine too. I mean, it's your show, so you should probably do what you need to do with it.
Well, just on this particular night, we're not talking about college football. We're just talking about the channel. So I just want to deliver again to everyone so that they've got a snapshot of everything we're working on and how we're going forward. And we will certainly pick up with the college football conversation. I was about to say tomorrow, but basically later tonight with a USC live show at 11 o'clock Eastern time.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't want to interrupt you then if I'm interfering with you.
You're quite all right. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you being here. Call back soon.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Let's keep it rolling here at the Voice of College Football. And here we go. We've got Tide Guy showing up.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well. What's going on?
Hey, a couple suggestions.
Yep.
You're on Twitter, so you got followers. Have you thought about Twitter Spaces? Do you know anything about Twitter Spaces?
I thought about it about 3 minutes ago when I saw One Scoop John mention it in the chat. But before that, I didn't. You know what's funny is I first heard of Twitter Spaces about 4 days ago because I got into an argument with a gentleman who didn't know what they were talking about on Twitter. And this individual called themselves a Twitter space lord. And I was like, what is that? I'm like, you must be proud of yourself. I gave him some kind of sarcastic response to that and said, you're really changing the world. And then I was like, is that a real thing? And I looked it up.
Oh, yeah. No, it's real, unfortunately.
So I really don't know what it is, even though I looked it up. What is it in practical terms?
Okay. So basically on Twitter, I have I want to say, and I might be wrong. I haven't looked in a long time. I think I have 58 followers. Okay. A couple days ago, I was like you, got into arguments on Twitter because everybody's throwing these numbers around. And I do not for the life of me understand where people are getting their numbers. I pull all my numbers from the universities themselves. That's to me, the best place to get numbers is you go to the source. So I talked to another guy and we set up a Twitter space. I think it was 5 days ago. And with my few people and his few people, we had 81 people in there at one time. So, I mean, with the bigger following you have, you'll get quite a few. Basically, it's not video, it's all talk. Like you'll set it up so you'll be the host, and then let's say you want to bring in, somebody else, you can have co-host, and then people will raise their hands that want to speak, or they'll say something so they can be speakers, and you can leave them in as speakers. But you control, if you don't like what somebody's saying, you can remove them as a speaker so they can't talk no more. But it's kind of an open forum, and you control it, so you can get your message out there, but you could bring on other people to talk with you. So it's kind of like this, but instead of us coming on, everybody is on there, and we can all raise our hands and talk.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I think that would be, it might be a way for you to pick up a few more subscribers to your YouTube. It's not going to replace your YouTube, but I think that would help you with subscribers.
Yeah, because I think you've probably discovered that you can get in conversation on Twitter, and even if the person thinks you know what you're talking about or are fun to argue with, for them to take the effort to jump on over to YouTube just based on that without having that constant interaction over there, maybe, yeah, that's an opportunity to kind of bring them over here.
And the other thing I would say to you is, I think you got about 2.5 more weeks of worrying, and then you'll be done. We know that the SEC has already voted. The video will be out tomorrow. The SEC voted. They're going to get rid of the colleges. We're going to go to the XFL for an extra $25 a year. But all these crazy, stupid, Florida State is leaving the ACC. They're going to pay $120 million. Well, that don't include grant of rights and all this and that. And, that'll all drop here in a couple of weeks when the Pac-12 signs their contract and everything's back to normal. So the one thing I do love about you, Mark, is you use facts, you use knowledge, you use, I'm not saying you don't give opinions sometimes in that, but at least when you do, you try to use logic behind your comments, and that does matter to a lot of people, believe it or not.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I got to say, with all the expansion and realignment talk, and obviously we've had 2 major moves here in the last 2 summers, the one thing I enjoy about that, Jeff, is that I enjoy looking at the possibilities of that, and then trying to determine, okay, how would I lay out that conference in terms of divisions, in terms of a schedule format. So I will post those videos,
Right.
as soon as Oklahoma and Texas join the SEC, I look at it and say, how would I attack that? How would I set that up? I love doing those kind of videos.
Exactly. Yeah, because you could do it. You could do one now because we know Texas and Oklahoma's coming next year. They're looking at a 3-6-6. Well, what are the threes going to be? Who are each team's threes going to be? And you can discuss many different scenarios that, and that's fun. And, I don't mind people saying, what happens if this would happen? But there's too many people using it as more than likely this is going to happen. And let me tell you what, and unfortunately, nobody knows. And when there are conference realignments, did you know Texas and Oklahoma was going to the SEC before it broke? Did anybody know USC and UCLA was going to go before it? Most of all this is done behind closed doors. They're not going to the media. They're not mentioning anything,
And for as much as I make fun of all that, and as you said, might be better off in a couple of weeks when we get through all this. I got more views than at any time in the history of this channel after Oklahoma, Texas joined, and USC, UCLA, and capitalizing on all of that. All you have to do is look at the chart of my views. I'm sure you do that on your channel, and they just
right.
I could throw anything out there for about 3 weeks, and it was going to get 25,000 views on a video.
Right. And I'm sure it's disheartening because, you've got lots of subscribers, and there's people out there with, 6,000, 7,000, and they're just producing all these videos right now because they're saying, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? But in the long run, more people are going to stick with you, Mark, because I feel like if I come to your show, I learn something. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to know the facts versus going to a lot of the other people who are more opinionated and what ifs and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's, again, very nice of you to say, Jeff. And I look forward to jumping on your channel and having a good time over there at some point.
Yeah, I will get that set up. We'll get Smoke and we'll get a couple other people. And yeah, we'll definitely do a Jeopardy night with you. So that way you can show off all your college football knowledge.
I don't know about that. Not against that crew. It's going to be tough. That's going up to the big leagues. And so that's.
Well, if you like, we could put you in training with like triple stuffed Oreos this time to make it,
No, I think that sugar was going to my brain, and I was practically hyperventilating by the time I had 34. So I think about 15 of those answers I could have kicked myself, because you know how you kick yourself in that kind of situation when you know something and then you spit something else out and you're like, oh my word, I've known that forever. Yep. I did that about 15 times. But everybody, it's extremely easy to find on YouTube. Just put in Tide Guy. I did that the other day. Tide Guy, boom, pops right up. You'll know where to find Jeff. He's Tide Guy, and you can follow it on, find his channel on YouTube extremely easily.
All right. Well, thanks, Mark. And like I said, check out Twitter Spaces. Try that one time. I think that might be a quick, easy way for you to pick up a few subscribers, real fast. So
I have it down right here. Twitter Space. Yes.
All right, Mark. Thanks for having me on, and you have a great night.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Have a good night. Yeah, John's making fun of me in the chat for missing LSU questions. I think I did worse on LSU than anyone, even though I think I know LSU football pretty darn good. But Kevin Mawe is one of the great centers in. Who did I guess? I guessed Alan Faneca. He's a guard. Maybe he didn't tell me center or guard. Maybe he just said offensive lineman. I don't remember. But yeah. So anyway, we'll pick that up at a later date. Maybe we'll tweak the forget the Oreos for a second. We'll tweak the conditions of the questions, because I had no issue with all the football. Let me underline and capitalize and boldface football questions. I'm not answering questions anymore about mascots. I don't give a damn about mascots. Don't care about mascots. Everybody should know the mascot of their team. I don't know anybody else's mascot. I couldn't name you one mascot. Yeah. Bucky Badger. There's one. The Stanford Tree. There's two. The big orange guy. I don't even know if he exists anymore. Maybe he's been smitten from the face of the earth because they had to switch up their. But there was a big orange guy that was the Syracuse Orange, but I don't know what his name was. I'm not answering. We're going to put certains for as much as I said. Any question is on the table. We're taking certain non-football related questions off the table. There we go. No mascots for me. Don't care about the mascots. I know one mascot, that's Brutus Buckeye. And again, Stanford Tree, Bucky Badger. Yeah, that's it. All right. Next up here, as we look at the fine merchandise there, you can order by going to, we will grab that link again. Of course, I know UGA. Okay. Dan Beast Media is letting me know about, UGA. I do know UGA. Okay, there's another one I do know. UGA. Okay, here's another one I know only from covering this team for 7 years. Since I was in the SEC for 7 years, covering Alabama, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss every day. I know Bully, the Mississippi State Bulldog. That's Bully. And then I also know, well, what's funny is, of course, the old rebel guy. He's been outlawed. I think his name was like Colonel Reb, but he's been smitten off the face of the earth. He's no longer allowed, so he's gone. So there we go. All right. So next up, what else did we want to hit on? I'm going to keep going until we got like 4 people here. We talked about challenges. Okay, this set we have here. So some of you know what my situation is here in regards to what's happened in my personal life over the last 6 months to a year. So I'm not going to go through all of that. Everything's great. I'm doing great. Everybody's good. We all go through those kind of situations in life, of course. So I certainly empathize with any of you out there and feel bad for any of you that are going through circumstances that involve relationships or finances, or we all get hit with these things many times throughout life. So I sold my house. I had to take over a situation here. And so you're actually going to see me move twice in probably 3 months. So this is temporary. I'm not proud of this. I don't like it, but we at least got the helmets here. If nothing else, we got the helmets. And hang on. If Tim is in the chat, he'll be happy to know, or maybe he will be mad at me rather, that I bought this like 2 months ago and it's still in the box because I've just thought, what's it going to look like here? But I think it might be tied in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to. No, it's not. There we go. So we got ourselves a light strip so we can, go with all the various fancy different types of lights. We can match that up with the team that we're talking about, do all that business. So I've got a light strip that I bought, again, only about 2 months ago, and have yet to even just, all you have to do is plug it in. But I just thought, with this background, with this blue curtain and this beige wall, what is this going to look like? But you know what? I should actually even just try it out. So, Tim, you'll be happy at least there. We can at least see what it looks like here, although this is not where we're going to be. But again, there's going to be a lot of moving around and shifting around of things because actually I'm getting this place ready to sell. So it's torn to shreds. It's been gutted. If you would have seen what I've taken out to the curb for the trash collectors for about 6 consecutive weeks, it's like just a mound, like it's like 27 trips of just stuff. So clearing out this place, selling it, and then I've got to be somewhere temporarily for about, we'll see how long, for as long as it takes me to find another place to live. And then I will find my permanent home. So unfortunately, in terms of a set, then I hope by, let's say, June. I don't know if that's going to be the time frame, but let's say by June, I get to where I can just say, okay, I'm back to being in my own place, and okay, I can set this up the way I want to, the way it looks good. Yes, Troy, mood lighting. And Daniel, I did see your comment that you bought a shirt. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So that's the deal with the set. I hate the set. I've always hated my set, but at least the set before this one back at my house, I got it to where it was tolerable. I was okay with it. And I had my boom mic that I haven't used for 8 or 9 months. And I bought this thing. I hate this too. Just bought it just as a quick fix, just to have a mic. I asked my buddy Corey, what are you using? He said this. I said, okay, we'll use this. And so we're going to get rid of this at some point here soon as well. Okay. So the set we need to address. Okay, I am happy to announce this. Maybe I'll look this up so you guys can see this, because you would have seen this on the last couple of videos. Oh, are you kidding me? I have been logged out of everything. Okay, well, let's log back in here. Okay. And oh my word. That's not what I want. Okay. This is unbelievable. Okay. It just so happens that I was logged out of everything right before this show started, and I can't log into Canva. I wanted to show you a look at our new graphics and new thumbnails. If this would have happened at any other time, that would have been fine. But and then I've got a whole thing with Canva where I've got 2 accounts, so it's not letting me log in right now, and I don't want to go through all this while we're live. So anyway, if you check out our last 2 videos, you'll see that we have revamped our thumbnail style, and that will be taken to all the team channels as well. And then the next thing, you guys who like to watch my analysis videos where I break things down and you see all sorts of graphics that I build, well, the graphics suck. So the graphics that I use are in iMovie, and they're not real nice. Well, I've been given the recommendation to go to, and I can't even tell you what it is, and so I'm going to have to do a quick read on that, and I'm going to have to study up, and it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but I want to increase the level of graphics. It has to look much better, and we'll deal with that and work with that. And my son's helping me on the thumbnails. He has created that look, and then also, yes. And the graphics in the videos. That's going to be a little bit more of a stretch to get us there, but we will just take one thing at a time. All right. What else did I have that I wanted to hit on? Oh man, I can't let a stream go by without mentioning the Amazon link. And, this is another road we can go down. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I mean that I should go down that affiliate marketing. There is money to be made in affiliate marketing, and any good YouTuber will tell you that actually I shouldn't be making my money from YouTube. That should be like pocket change. That's not how you build a business relying on YouTube. So I make like 98% of my money off of YouTube, and I should make like 5% of my money. It should be tip money. So we're trying to get that taken care of with the merchandise. Isn't going to make us a lot of money unless we sell a ton of it, but that's not going to be a big money maker. But I've got some thoughts about Patreon. I will not unveil that right now because it's not vetted out and thought through. But we have let you know that on Patreon, of course, the deal is that so this is part of the Discord. And let me pull up the Patreon. So that's the old Patreon page right there. And what you do there is just go to patreon.com, search MarkRogersTV. And so there's the front page of their Patreon, and you can see where I've posted all sorts of stuff throughout, this past football season and so forth. The last thing I posted was February 3rd. And people responded, and I responded to them. You get my predictions, which are phenomenal, of course. No, actually, they weren't this past season, but they were decent. They were good. They would have made you a couple bucks, but not a lot. But they'll be better, and they have been better in the past. And shoot, outside of any kind of bookmaker, odds maker, I should say, or bookie, I would put my predictions on a yearly basis, not this particular season, but overall, over the course of 10 or 20 years, I would put my picks up against anybody. And especially if I concentrate, especially if I take a little bit of time instead of just taking like 45 seconds to go check, 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 is what I've been doing the last couple of years. But still, again, way over what you need to make a buck against the spread. And Ben's picking us up right there. There you go. And what you get there again is, first and foremost, what this has become way beyond what I offer on the Patreon part of it is, go to patreon.com, search Mark Rogers TV, or there's the link right there that Ben has left in the chat. And I will send you a Discord link. Actually, I send you a nice, eloquently stated, nice little welcome letter with the Discord link. You take that Discord link and you are locked into Discord from here on. You are a member of the chat with everybody. The knuckleheads are there to talk college football 24/7, 365. And we've got a different Discord chat for every conference. We've got a national feed. You can jump in any of those and talk college football all the time. And shoot, if you want to talk about, I think they've also got a page where you guys can talk about whatever, even outside of college football. So please join us there. $5 a month. And that is what's going on with Patreon and Discord. And again, still trying to figure out exactly what to do with the rest of the Patreon, because I used to cut a video every Friday with my predictions during the college football season. And we may get back to that next season, or maybe I'll deliver some here and some on Patreon. But there's a lot of good stuff on Patreon that we do, and you get an insider look at the voice of college football, something that I'm kind of delivering right now here for all of you. And again, the predictions from myself and also from about 15 to 20 of your favorite media folks, including Steve Days and Tony Gerdeman and Steve Hellwagon and the Wholesome One and others there on Patreon. You get their predictions as well. All right, I've talked about affiliate marketing. If you are an affiliate marketing expert, please contact me. Because basically, we just have the Amazon link. And I would think at this point, the Amazon link would be almost a running joke. But hey, it's our deal. That's what I've got going. It's the Amazon link. You can shop on Amazon. I thought that would be the smartest affiliate marketing to start with. Amazon. Everybody's on Amazon. So that's the one I went with. And we make about $22 a month. We range between about 19, at least you guys are consistent. We range from about $19 to $23 that we make on Amazon every month. But would love to put about 3 zeros behind that. Would be phenomenal. I came across a website. I came across a YouTube channel. I'm sorry. Came across a YouTube channel. Right before I came on here, I was getting on YouTube and just making sure everything was fine there. And, it shows the suggested videos. There was a dude that was doing a live stream. And he had just finished his live stream. Get this, everyone. Just finished his live stream. And he had 508,000 views. And this video was like an hour old. 508,000 views. And I looked at his page, his YouTube account. He's got 12.3 million subscribers. And I thought, what is he doing? Well, on this particular video, he was talking about gaming, which I know nothing about, don't care about. And, after I had my Intellivision in 1985 and liked to play, Galaga, I haven't really delved into video games since. So, but I don't think he was a gaming guy, because I just kind of glanced through his other videos and I think this dude just talks about anything. So I clicked on and I watched for about 3 minutes. The guy can communicate. He's like a hippie guy. He's probably 25, 28, something like that. Just kind of, it looks like a hippie. And he just sits there and he's really laid back. It's not like he's exciting anyone he's not like jumping out of his chair, getting people fired up. He's basically just kind of chill. But man, this dude, I calculated in my head, roughly, this is a rough estimate. This guy has to be making, like, I looked him up on Social Blade. He's got to be making $2 million a month on YouTube. That's crazy. Jason is a big gamer. I've got nothing against it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just say that I'll play a video game. Like when my kids were little, my son was 10, I'd play video games with him. And he's 26 now. So that gives you an idea. When he was like 15 and, you'd play Mario Kart and all those games and sports games with him. That's the last time I played any of that. And I couldn't even tell you what he had. I do remember standing outside of Walmart one probably 3 weeks before Christmas, one of those deals where Walmart was going to be releasing, or they were going to be releasing some big video game at midnight at X number of stores. And so I wanted to get him for that. I'm sure basically his mother told me. I didn't know anything about it, but she told me. And so, okay, I'm going to go up to Walmart and I'm going to stand in line at midnight where it's like 18 degrees outside. And that's what I did. Well, this particular night, I'm like the 40th person in line. I go up there and I'm standing in line. I would never do this now, but back then I wore shorts when it was 15 degrees outside. I had shorts on, standing in line. Didn't know that I'd have to stand in line outside in the cold. But it was so funny because they only had, let's say, 20 games and there were like 80 of us. So the 20 people got their games. Everybody else was screwed. Well, we weren't screwed. We still got put on a list and we got to pick up our game, and I got the game a couple days later. But this dude who was like 2 people in front of me, first of all, why does he care that I'm wearing shorts when it's 15 degrees outside? Like, why should he care? But he does. And he makes the comment about me, but he's not man enough to like turn around and tell me this. He tells this to the dude that he's standing with, something about, look at this moron. He's got shorts on when it's 15 degrees outside. And so so like 5 minutes after he said that, they come out and say, sorry, we've sold the 20 and we're going to have to give everybody else a rain check. And so we start walking away. And my comment, like kind of to the next person there, was, yeah, who's the moron? Is it the person that's standing outside in 15-degree weather, or is it the person that stood out here for 2 hours, or the person that stood out here for 10 minutes? So that's my little story of, man, I took us somewhere after hearing about video games and the guy with 12 million subscribers. The man who gets us, I believe, one subscriber closer to 12 million would be our buddy Yakov.
Oh, hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, sir. How are you?
Doing well, Mark. I don't know if you saw, I just sent you a super chat too, but maybe we can.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Let's see what we have here. My content has far more depth to it. Well, thank you. I believe that's a slippery slope. You want to make it still understandable and want to make it for everyone to enjoy at the same time. So,
and I guess I wasn't able to, and that's true. And you do that. I just wasn't able to condense that all into a sentence.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say.
Well, I just signed off. I was listening to what I was driving, Mark, and I heard you just when I got to my computer here. I heard you mention the video gamer, and I understand a lot of people are interested in that, but I don't follow that. But you have what you have for us, and what you offer to me, Mark, and to many of us that listen to you, is far more than watching anyone play a video game.
Well, I appreciate that. And I don't expect to ever have 12 million subscribers on here. Nobody has 12 million subscribers talking about college football. It's just not that popular. But yeah, it's funny because I kind of skimmed through this video, and the last like half of this video that was 20 minutes long was him watching other people play video games.
For some reason, Mark, there is a great interest in that. I almost got off the video games, and I know someone, but when I think of video games, I still think about Atari 2600s from the 1980s, and which my parents would never let us get. I'm probably grateful that they didn't, because I might have got hooked to it. But my dad always says, it's a waste of time. Don't hurt your brain with that kind of stuff. And now I'm just not that interested in video games. But anyone who likes it, I'm not here to criticize it. I just don't find the allure of it. Mark, I thought I wanted to ask you. This is only an off-season thing. I never would bother you with this type of thing. But I maybe I could use we'll say almost like a little counseling or so. I guess it's a sports counseling. Here's what I'll say, Mark. Mark, of course, I love college football. That's as far as sports go. That's whatever is second for me is distant second. It happens to be NFL, but that's a distant second. But something that I guess I sometimes I wrestle with, Mark, is certainly in the 80s and 90s, even going to 2000s. I loved baseball. I loved college basketball. The NBA, I cared about every trade. I remember in high school, I would, especially during the playoff time, I would get up and watch Bob Trumpy on not ESPN on the 6:15. Because you didn't know who won. You just know you could check your phone and see who won. And he would say, "Oh, Phoenix beat Utah in the playoffs," and I was, okay, I'm gonna go to school knowing that Phoenix won that game. And of course, I love the NFL. But now, Mark, I guess my sports, my ability to enjoy sports, I lost all interest in the NBA. College basketball, to me, has been reduced to, if Ohio State is good, I'll watch them. If they're not, like this year, don't watch anything. I do watch the tournament. NBA, no interest. Baseball, I guess I like it a little bit in April when it's fresh, and then I enjoy the playoffs. But other than that, I don't watch any regular season games. The NFL, I used to watch all the minutia, and now I do enjoy the games. I do watch the games, consistently, but I don't follow what's happening on Wednesday or so. I just watch the games. I guess I felt like my sports entertainment interests have shrunk dramatically, just probably in the last 5-10 years tops. Do you ever? I hope this is not too off the topic of things, but I just thought I'd ask you if you've ever have experienced that type of shrinkage, I guess you'd say.
So Yakov, I will say that I'm going to give you a special dispensation, I suppose, because I have told every other caller that started talking about something other than the channel that we're not allowed to talk about anything else but the channel for this one show.
I wasn't listening, Mark.
That's quite all right. But so we will relate it to the channel in some fashion or form.
Well, my relation is I like the channel. Yeah.
There you go. And you sent us a super chat. So thank you so much for that. I am right there with you. Okay. So if you would have taken Mark Rogers at 15 years old, the NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, for my entire life, those three were like dead even. If anybody ever asked me, well, what's your favorite sport, especially people that knew that I could regurgitate any kind of stat from any of those three, they couldn't tell, so they would say, which one's your favorite? And I'd always tell them they're all tied. I can't separate them. But even the NBA, college basketball, even when I was really young, I'd watch a ton of tennis and golf.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
The major championships. I don't watch anything now. Nothing. I haven't watched a college basketball game in 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Like I haven't watched a ball go through a basket in 10 years. Like, I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
When, if you pulled me aside in 1995, I could tell you probably 4 starters out of 5 on every team in the top 25.
I used to walk around imitating Dick Vitale, and Wake Forest was playing NC State on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Baby!
Oh yeah.
He's a David Dandy. Yeah. David, yeah. That's pretty good.
I remember the first time I heard him say, because the crowd was rocking, some team was on a run, maybe Ohio State was on a run, and he'd say, I thought it was the most hilarious thing. He'd go, Bruce Springsteen just walked into St. John's Arena, baby.
That is funny. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good memory, Mark. Well, I guess, so you understand what I'm saying, but I guess I'll relate it back to this, Mark. So, your channel, and how is it, I guess you can only speak for yourself, but how is it that those other things have fallen out of favor for us, but college football has remains strong. You know, I've never lost any passion for Ohio State for college football in general, Ohio State in specific. Although I'll watch any game, it doesn't really matter basically. I'll watch a MAC game if that was on. But you know, somehow that could survive these other turbulent situations, but the other ones couldn't.
Yeah. So
that might get to the heart of the show if we could get to that.
What you said about the NFL is exactly where I'm at with the NFL. There was a time in my life for decades where I knew more about the NFL than I did about college football because it's easier to keep track of. There are less teams, obviously, but you know, I knew everybody's roster. I knew everybody's stats. I could tell you the top 10 NFL rushers of all time. You know, I was locked in on everything.
That was my top.
And I'm just like you now. What you just said. I'll watch any game, every game. I love watching the games. I don't pay any attention to roster transactions, nothing. I don't know what's going on.
Right. You like the draft. I like the draft because
I like the draft too.
College, but yeah. Okay. I guess we maybe that's why we're getting at. We like the show so much, because we were. It's the one thing that's left for us, really, in from our childhood or even our adulthood, for that matter. I mean, I'm not even talking about 30 years ago. I'm talking about 10 years ago, maybe.
Oh yeah. And you were an Indians fan, right? / Commanders.
Yeah, from the early 80s.
Guardians fan. Yeah. So the same thing with baseball, and baseball is probably more of a nerd than anything because it's more of a statistically driven sport. And 2016 World Series, that World Series team, I was totally locked in on that. 2017, the same thing. And something happened where my son and I at the same time just dropped out of nowhere. Like he'll even remind me sometimes during baseball season and say, you know what we would have been doing 5 years ago? We would know exactly, okay, we're playing the White Sox this weekend and this is the pitching rotation and everything. And I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. And I've tried a few times, Mark, to even watch a game. Not necessarily basketball, but not necessarily baseball, but basketball or college basketball. I just, can't find it interesting. It just lost my passion for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, you know what? Now I have more time for a whole bunch of other things. So maybe there's a blessing in disguise. Other interests. And I guess I have more time to work on those instead. And I'll say one last thing, Mark. There was from, let's say, sometime in the early 80s until the mid 90s when they started to go down. As much as I love college football in Ohio State, there'll never be a team that I cared more about than the Browns. When they, let's say, maybe certainly 85 when they won the division and lost to Miami.
Yep.
But in those late 80s until sometime in the 90s, there'd never be a sport, a team that I cared about more than that. Even as much as I love Ohio State, I cared more about that. I used to, even in the gas stations anywhere in Northern Ohio, I loved that there was Browns paraphernalia everywhere. I used to have this thing like, we're Northeast Ohio, and we're all in this together, which I don't really feel like that anymore. I like Ohio, but I don't really think about Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
At least not if I bonded with Northeast Ohio, it's not through the Browns. Remember another thing, Mark, I used to love, especially in the winter, there used to be a Ford commercial. Remember, it was probably the mid to late 80s, and it was Marty. They were in a huddle. It was obviously a winter game, and winning Ohio. It was winning Ohio over. I'm not going to sing it, but have you driven? And then Marty Schottenheimer would say into the huddle, remember, 53 Cleveland Browns playing together can't lose. And I was so fired up. I'd watch that in the morning, like at 6:30, and then head off to the bus or whatever, middle school, high school. And I'll never love a sport I never love a team more than the Browns for about 8 years or so. But again, that's not around anymore.
I don't know if you've ever heard this out of me, Yakov, but Buckeyes fan, Indians fan, which maybe the Indians might have been my most favorite team of all ever. Wow, I spent more time watching Indians baseball than any other sport by far. But anyway,
Tom Hamilton, I loved his voice.
Cavs,
yeah,
didn't care that much, but I was a Cavs fan. I was interested. I was never a Browns fan.
Yeah, I know you, and which we thought was interesting because again, you came of age as a sports fan just at the beginning of the. I know you started watching the 70s, but let's say 1980. That's the start of the Cardiac Kids.
Yeah.
and you would have thought that would have drawn you in
No,
emotionally.
was Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Well, they were just coming off the '70s when they were.
Oh, I was thinking, oh my goodness.
My dad used to have this cardiac picture in the early '80s. Remember when he got there, or sweatshirt early, and he's a lung doctor. He's been for 50 years, and it was a picture of like a heart and lungs, and then it said cardiac kids. I remember I thought that had something to do with his early '80s. I was like 8 years old. I thought that I knew he was a lung doctor. I thought that had something to do with like him, that like he some kind of connection to the Browns and lungs and stuff like that. But the cardiac kids,
yeah. If I'm gonna search out on YouTube any old games, I will go to the Cowboys first above anything else.
Yeah. Mark, I know you have other people. Again,
Thanks,
I appreciate you commiserating with me that I'm not the only one that felt like my sports world has shrunk dramatically.
Yeah.
But we have this, and it's the longest off season in college football in sports. But despite that fact, your show is still interesting, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah,
your off season content is still outstanding.
Appreciate that, sir.
I'm gonna listen to the rest of the show, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Bye-bye. It's our guy Yakov. Yakov gives me the most interesting super chats in that he always has old trivia questions, and I enjoy that because Yakov will show up during an Ohio State show, for example, and of course we're talking about Jim Knowles' defense and talking about C.J. Stroud, how they're going to replace him, and it's all what we're currently talking about every day. Yakov will show up and he'll have some kind of question about the steel curtain in 1978. And I love it because I just wanted just for a couple minutes talk about something. See, here's where I don't fit in the current scene. Everybody, this is proven by everything. Unless you can hit some kind of niche where you can talk about historical items and talk about the history of the game and people really get it. There's still a place for that, but your niche is, you got to be really good at it, which I believe I would be talking about history all the time, sports history. But you've got to have that buy-in and you got to find that audience, because to the masses, it's all about the future. That's why recruiting is so huge. It's all about the future and speculation. And I'm more interested in what's happened in the past. I've got like 5 or 6 shows taped from the History Channel right now on my DVR. All right, let's bring Joey back in here. Joey, what you got for us?
I'm actually not here, Mark. I'm just in the back room.
I'm sorry.
Writing your stuff there.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Good to see Joey. He popped up backstage, so I thought he wanted to jump on here. So again, I don't know if there's anything that I haven't hit on, but here are the highlights. If you have not seen us from top to bottom, obviously we're talking content and everything we want to do for you here at the Voice of College Football. So I make this comment on a regular basis: best discussion, debate, and analysis. Now, when I say that, that's the goal. That's the mission. I am not bragging that we deliver that all the time, because we don't. We know where we don't deliver. So, but that's the mission. Best discussion, debate, and analysis of college football. So I am going to do a better job of trying to get a feel of the pulse of where you guys want this in regards to content, because I do waste a lot of time producing content that doesn't resonate. So I got to do a better job with content. Content is king, but we also have to market that content, and that sometimes is an issue. Yeah, Connor, it is strange. I went from I had the Major League Baseball package. That was an automatic purchase every spring before, 2 weeks before the season started. I need the Major League Baseball package every game, every team, every game, all the time. I remember when I first got it, it might have been 2004, 2005. I got the extra innings package, and opening day, I'm flipping around. I can see, I saw 3, ninth inning rallies. And I was just this thing, it was $190 a year or something. I was like, this thing paid for itself on opening day. Oh man. I could name you every player in the major leagues in the 80s and 90s, and man, I was just a nut. And that just whoop, gone. Gone. It's gone. All right. Back to where we were. So content, and again, like I truly don't know how this will do, but I'm going to go through every season of college football pre-playoff, and I'm going to let everyone know, and some people take some offense to this, who is a justified national champion and who's not, and who we're going to distribute that national championship to. And if there are 5 teams that have a legitimate claim, like they're all tied for a national championship in my eyes, then I'm going to say, you know what? In 1975, I think that's a good example. There are 5 national champions. I'm sorry, we didn't have a playoff system. They didn't play each other. They all went 11-1. They all won their conferences. They all played really good schedules. They didn't play each other. They all should be the national champion. That's what's fair. And we are going to redistribute the national championships. Now, some of you are going to love that. A lot of you won't watch. I don't know. We will try to get it there. Yes, Twisted Rooster. We have an SEC channel, and it's got a lot of subs. Well, depending on what you think is a lot for us, 16,000. It's not got that many, but it's got 16,000 subs, but it's seen its better days. Yes, it needs to get moving. Yes. But, so I'm going to do a series on that. I started a series a few days ago of doing spring updates. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to deliver a power-packed 4 minutes, 5 minutes on every team that I can get to in college football. And here it comes. And I don't think people are into that, but that's what I want to do. So I did. Good comment, Tide Guy. Love it. So actually, it's funny because Alabama, I did do this. I just didn't produce the videos. I went through all the seasons and did this a couple of years ago, and I knocked a few off Alabama, but I also added a couple. So people were surprised because they thought, oh, Mark is going to lay waste to Alabama, and they're not going to have these 18 national championships or whatever it is. And it's only going to be 13. Well, you know what ended up happening? I gave Alabama a few national championships, and I think it evened out. So John is telling us need to get caught up on the spring update. So I just thought, I'm going to do 3 to 5 minute updates, just basically very regimented they're all going to be the same in terms of me just kind of giving a narrative. Like I give a nice little narrative on Wisconsin football, release that today. The first minute is just basically I'm drawing a historical parallel to what's going on with Luke Fickell right now. And I just kind of lay that out there. And then it's all about who did Wisconsin lose? Who did they lose to the NFL draft? Who did they lose to the transfer portal? Who did they gain in the transfer portal? Who are going to be the impact players that they added? It's not like a complete preview of the season, but I let you know at the end of that, hey, we will do a complete preview sometime in the summer and a complete schedule preview. So we've released Washington and Wisconsin with our fancy new thumbnail. And we'll just, again, that doesn't resonate like a lot of other things that are going out there about, Wake Forest capsizing their football program because they're not going to be able to play in a conference. And Clemson, Florida State, Oregon, Washington, Stanford, Cal, all joining the Big Ten in 3 days. And I enjoy all that if it's legitimate talk. John, appreciate you being here. Thank you for that. And you can all call in. I will stick around if we get some calls because I think I have delivered the state of the Voice of College Football address. And I want to continue to give some love to the folks that we thanked off the top. So we will do that right now. And again, we've got merchandise. I am pumped about that. So just go to the Voice of College Football, and you can see our merch, and you can select it from there. And you know what? If you have any suggestions after either you get your merch or you've looked through the merch options, if you've got any suggestions there in terms of, oh, I would love to have that in blue instead, or did you ever think about adding this or adding that? Let us know. We can't guarantee anything, but I can certainly get Joey on that, and we can see if we can accommodate that. All right, look at this. It's taken about 25 calls, but we got to the real MVP here.
Hey, Mark, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. What's going on tonight?
Well, you talked about your Big Ten and SEC show you're doing.
Yes.
So can you give me a detail? I know it's starting at 6, but what's it going to be about in general? Is it going to be about all the teams? Is it going to be talking about preseason expectations? Like, what's it going to talk about in the off season?
This is not a one-time show. We're doing a weekly Big Ten show and a weekly SEC show starting next week. So you're going to see much of what you see on our other shows, but we're going to have more time to bring the conference together in terms of having more conference discussion. So you're going to see a lot of the guests that you already see, or I shouldn't call them guest contributors, that you see contributing to the other team live streams. But I want to, of course, mix it up and bring in some fresh blood and fresh perspective. So I will be listening to all of you in terms of who you would like to see on that show. So we'll bring some of those people on, and I'm going to have an agenda of items. I'm going to produce a list of topics to talk about, whether that's simply going to be the news of the day or the news of the week, or, you know, during slow times, during the middle of May, I may need to do some thinking, but it's going to write itself, of course, during the season. But it's going to be just and we're going to take calls, but it's going to be us talking Big Ten and SEC football for 2 or 3 hours, and all the news of the week, and breaking down the key topics and the big storylines.
Okay, well, I know for your SEC show, you've got a lot of SEC channels, maybe the most. I'm not sure if that is for the Big Ten. Are you going to allocate equal time to everybody?
No.
All your contributors? Or are you just going to give it mainly to the big dogs of the conference?
The big dogs.
Okay.
I would like to give it to everyone equally, but it's ridiculous to talk about Vandy football for 20 minutes after we talked about Alabama for 20 minutes. Nobody wants to hear about Vandy for 20 minutes. But we'll talk about everybody. Everybody will. Everybody will get a mention. Everybody will get some love. I will certainly not ignore Vandy football, but I'm not going to, just for the sake of fairness, talk about everyone equally. These teams earn wins, so they earn time just like they earn wins and championships.
Well, I get that, but for example, you've got a South Carolina channel, you've got a Texas A&M channel.
Yep.
Would you give those teams more talking time than a Kentucky or an Arkansas?
Oh, just because I've got a channel? No.
Okay.
No, we're going to focus on, it's a combination of, just like I think it's a combination of this on any of the platforms or on this particular show. I talk about what people want to talk about. I talk about, we obviously talk about the best games, the best teams, and that's all we talk about here. There, I'm going to make sure, if not a single soul wants to talk about Vandy, I'm still going to mention Vandy's got a game this week against Troy, and, I'm going to give you a little blurb for 30 to 40 seconds, X, Y, and Z. Vandy beat Hawaii last week, 56-10, and, the quarterback looked good and the running back didn't, and, there'll be some Vandy discussion, sure.
Yeah, and what I'm going to look forward to most, Mark, okay, is whenever the SEC loses a game in week 1, because it will happen, possibly, that one game's going to confirm the SEC's not the best conference. I mean, last year LSU lost to Florida State, and boom, that one game set the narrative. So I'm going to look forward to all the trolls in the chat just saying SEC not the best conference.
And that's what I welcome in this is I don't want to do an SEC show and just have a bunch of SEC folks in the chat and talking about how great the conference is, and then they can argue with each other about how good they are, as teams. But I want these shows to get trolled by other fan bases.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mark, as somebody who ardently defends the SEC, I will constantly be there reminding that they are just basically the G8, and then you got the Big Ten and the SEC. That's the way unfortunately, that's the way it's going.
Yeah. Well,
and anybody that does any smack talking about it, I mean, I think it'd be great if you did a show where you had your SEC people and your Big Ten people kind of going at it.
Okay. Well, we can cross that over.
Yeah, if it's like debatable mid-season, which one's better?
Oh, yeah. And I certainly would. I'd love to do, and I know this is going to happen at some point. Somebody's going to bring up, why don't you have an ACC show and a Pac-12 and a Big 12? Well, we got the Pac-12 show, but the Big 12 and the ACC, and I'll simply say, I there's one of me. So even this is a bit of a stretch to add another like 5 hours to my week, but I think that these two shows should do well. And I think they'll be fun and entertaining and informative. And so we're going to do them. And I would love to do that. I've got nothing against the Big 12. I've got nothing against the ACC, but I just don't have time to do them.
Well, and let's be completely honest, Mark, okay? Their conference is just not equal to the SEC and Big Ten. They're just not.
No, they're not. I still cover them though.
I know, but we got to pretend that, like with the college football playoff, that they're going to get the same guaranteed spots and all that stuff. We got to pretend they're equal when they're not really equal. I'm sorry if that upsets anybody, but just look at the talent, the NFL draft, the players, the coaches, any metric out there, and you'll see those two conferences have just separated themselves.
Yeah, that's why the Florida State AD was so adamant about doing something about that when he approached the Board of Trustees last week and said, we're going to be falling behind by 40. Well, they already are falling, but I don't know where his math is, but they're going to be falling behind by like 60 million a year. I think he threw out 30. It's 30 now. It's going to be like 60 going forward.
Yeah, did you hear that reportedly the guy who was given the presentation said it's basically impossible to compete, and then he got interrupted and said it's impossible? I'm sorry, but that's not a great look for every other conference. If Florida State says it's impossible to compete going forward, if Florida State can't compete, then nobody can compete.
Yeah, it's not a good look going forward. Now, what they've got in their favor is talent in the state.
Oh, well, Mark, it'll be like everything else. It'll consolidate into the two superpowers most likely. Instead of calling it AFC versus NFC, it'll be called Big Ten versus SEC.
Well, you definitely have every right and every indication to be making that argument, but I think that's going to take a while.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I didn't say it happened next year. I don't think I ever claimed that anywhere in there. But with your Big Ten show that you're doing, are you just going to explicitly be talking about Ohio State versus Michigan? Because I've noticed that is a common pattern throughout the Big Ten, is it always reveres back to just those two. And it's always just focused on those two. Now, I like hearing about Ohio State versus Michigan, but I would like to hear about Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, the other programs as well, and not just that one game.
Okay, so similar to the SEC and similar to every show we do here, Are we going to talk about Maryland? Yes. And Indiana? Yes. So we're going to talk about everybody in the Big Ten. Are we going to talk about them as much as Ohio State and Michigan? No. Of course not.
Well, that's
Because,
fine if you talk about Ohio State and Michigan more. I just don't want to hear about that game all the time.
well, no, I will not be talking about that game all the time. I will not have, guests on that will be talking about that game all the time. But if people in the chat want to talk about it, or they call and they talk about it, then there you go.
I guess if that's what the people want, then that's what the people want. But somebody's got to be out there defending Rutgers, as Jordan Bowman points out. Somebody's got to be there defending Indiana, the smaller universities out there, Mark.
Well, see, if I had some kind of like crazy, ridiculous subscriber base and viewership, then I could take a hit and talk about, like, if when we talked about Ohio State and we posted a video, it got 100,000 views, and the Rutgers videos got 8,000 views, I'd still be like, okay, well, I'm still going to do a Rutgers video and we'll still talk Rutgers but to talk about Ohio State and get 5 or 10,000 views, and to talk about Rutgers and get 83 views, that doesn't make any sense. But yes, we will hit everyone, but it's going to be proportioned based on how good the teams are, and mostly by what people want to talk about.
So what you're basically telling me is the only 3 teams we're going to be hearing about is Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State.
I hope not.
I think you and I both know that's probably going to be 90% of the conversation.
Well, yeah, but we're going to try to steer it away. I'm going to bring guests on here. So when I bring on an Iowa guest, a Minnesota guest, well, we're going to talk about those teams.
Okay. You're going to talk about the boat rowers and Iowa's defense? That'd be nice to hear about.
Yeah.
You can ask maybe the Iowa people if they're going to get an offense anytime soon. That'd be nice to hear about.
Well, their offense is not coming this season.
Yeah, I doubt it. You can't say for sure. Do you think it could get any worse than last season? Like we said that last year, but then it got worse. So could it get any worse this year?
No. Well,
exactly.
It shouldn't get worse.
It shouldn't, but I feel like somehow it will, They finished next to last, so they could finish last.
They only scored 17 points a game. And that's really bad, but it's even more horrible when you think about Northwestern was on the schedule, and 2 group of 5 teams were on the schedule. An FCS team was on the schedule, Rutgers was on the schedule. They're scoring 17 points a game.
Yeah, I know.
And the defense is scoring like 8 of them.
Right.
Well, you got to see it firsthand against your Kentucky Wildcats.
Oh, they've got an elite defense, Mark. I tell you what. I'll give people advice out there. Don't have a brand new quarterback go against Iowa's defense. That is not a good recipe. And also, don't stare down your receiver. That's also not going to be good.
Anybody who's currently in the chat or will be watching this later, think of your particular team, your favorite team, and think about them having a game like Iowa did against Kentucky, where they won 21-0. Great. But they had 2 pick sixes and their offense scored. I guess the offense scored. I don't know how far they drove the ball. 1 touchdown. Think about, like, probably in your memory of your team, you can think, oh, yeah, we had a game like that about 10 years ago. Yeah, we had a game like that where we won, 12-0, and the defense scored and the offense couldn't do anything. Well, Iowa has like 4 games like that a year.
Yeah, it's an anomaly for sure. It's an anomaly, a program that maybe the most.
I'm amused by it.
Yeah, I am too. It's fascinating. I loved your conversation with Steve Dace about that.
Yeah, Steve Dace and I, we chopped it up. I also the highest viewed video that we've ever gotten on our Iowa channel was when I went off on Brian Ferentz and how bad their offense is and how bad it's been for 15 years, and displayed all the numbers. And yeah, and then people complain that we talk about it. Well, I don't know what else you talk about.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Do you think Steve Dace could eventually make a guest appearance on the Big Ten show?
Well, I certainly hope so. I don't know if I've timed that out correctly. Steve is an extremely restricted schedule for us to even get Steve for our half hour on Thursday. He responded when I asked him to do that. He said his text was, "Since it's you, ... sure."
Oh, I know. Steve Dace is a very busy man, and he's got a lot of things going on right now. And what I like about him and his takes is I'm never neutral on his takes. He's either completely wrong in my opinion or completely right.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about the college football playoff and how it's going to be great for the sport and how, TCU is going to get great recruiting classes and eventually all these teams are going to be up there competing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
oh
don't
my
buy
gosh,
that.
this can't be further from what I imagine the future is going to be like. And then he talked about what was it, the conferences and how it's only going to be the SEC, Big Ten, and then the Pac-12 was basically dying off. It's like a fish out of water type thing. I was like, he's exactly right. That's what I like about him. He brings up that fire. He brings up that controversy about him. He's great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the perfect program to give an example of this too. Maybe it's Wisconsin, maybe it's Oklahoma State, maybe it's somebody like that. That they're a good team with an expanded playoff. Maybe they make the playoff. Think of Wisconsin or Oklahoma State at their best. Maybe they can make a playoff 4 out of 10 years, 5 out of 10 years. But if these recruits see that every time they make the playoff, they just lose the first game, I don't know what the appeal to that is.
Right. Well, Josh Pate had a question about it. Let's say Penn State were to make the playoffs the next 3 years, but they're the exact same strength as they were last year. Are they a better team?
No, they're going to lose in the first or second playoff game.
Yes, but I think you and I believe both understand that the perception of Penn State will be that they've elevated as a program because they're just making the playoffs. I think it'll take a while for people to view just making the playoffs as not a big deal.
Yes. I'll be able to view that correctly from the first year. But yes, standard, Joe Public, I would agree, probably they'll buy into our team is we made the playoffs last year. We almost made the playoffs this year. Oh, we made the playoffs again. They're going to buy into, oh, we must be better. Well, look at the records. You're not better. There's an expanded playoff.
Right. And that's my theory with a lot of these teams and where I think the difference is. I don't see the players, the recruits all going to be hyped that they just made the playoffs. Like Utah, if they made the playoffs the last 2 years just because they won their conference, are players going to say, well, they're making the playoffs? Or are they going to look at it and say, man, they're losing what I believe is going to be an average of like 28 points per game. So that's going to be interesting to see down the future, Mark.
Yeah, I think initially it's going to have buzz and it's going to have juice. And for those schools that have never made the playoff, that now make the playoff for the first 2 to 3 years, that's going to be, and maybe even longer than that, that's going to be a really a pop and boost to the program and to the perception of the program more than anything. But as the years go on, if your playoff record is 1-7 after, 8 playoff appearances, or I guess it would be 7 playoff appearances, that you won one lousy game in the first round, but then you just got your brains beat in the second round is all it did. And then you lost all the other first or second round games that you got into. Well, it's going to be viewed differently. It's going to be viewed differently in years 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to gradually change to where 12 years from now, viewing playoff teams, it's going to be like viewing NFL playoff teams that constantly go and lose. The Baltimore Ravens. Okay, you go to the playoffs a lot and lose. Okay. Great.
Yeah, Mark, I got to go. So I'll see you later.
All right, Daryl. Appreciate it. All right. Yes. Rick's here. LBC Trojan. Good to see Rick. We've got a USC show. It's coming up on the USC channel at 8 Pacific time. That's 11 Eastern. Hope to see you then. And I believe we've done enough damage. So this has been the State of the Voice of College Football address, brought to you by not just me, but brought to you by you. And again, many thanks to all of you for making this what it is. And we will continue to fight on. Yes, USC fans, I gave you a bit of a tip of the cap since it is USC night, and I've got some somewhat USC colors on as we go forward with some SC talk with Matt Zemek later tonight at 11 Eastern. And I've taken a few of your notes or your suggestions like Twitter space and some X's and O's breakdown, and we will carry those forward. And again, we're trying to navigate as a State of the Union address does. We're looking at in addition to the accomplishments and the vision going forward, we're looking at the challenges, and they would be increased competition. I guess that's what I'm being told. That's what I see every time I open up YouTube. I see like 8 more college football channels that I didn't even know existed. And some of them are doing rather well. As somebody told me the other day, I'll keep them anonymous. They said, Mark, I check out all these channels and almost all of them suck. But at the same time, somebody likes them. And I will also say that I'm going to make an outlandish goal, but you got to shoot high. And this used to not seem like an outlandish goal, but because of the trajectory recently of the channel, it does. But we want 100,000 subscribers at the end of this year. Let's just go get 100,000 subscribers. Even though subscribers aren't that important really, but that's another discussion. But it's an indicator. 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I guess we want to do maybe about 4 million views on the main channel. We did 2.4 million this past year. How about 4 million? I'm going to spit that out as a goal this year. 4 million views on the channel. That's more important than the subs, actually. And then we're going to reach out and branch out on all these other platforms. I don't know, after Instagram, maybe Reddit. We shall see. But we will keep all of you informed, especially there on Patreon. Search Mark Rogers TV, Patreon, Exploring with Penn. I love your hashtag. And again, join us on Patreon. I would love to be able to open up Patreon here in a minute and see that like 18 people signed up. So anyway, join us there, and we will see all of you soon. And USC Live at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Otherwise, we will be back here very soon. Be looking out for the notifications, and we've got Iowa Live, and we've got Nebraska Live tomorrow. And oh yeah, Zach Smith live with us tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern, right here at the Voice of College Football. Thank you for making this happen. We don't have a channel. We don't have channels without all of you. So thank you, and we will see you soon.